Lots of coverage coming your way from Lowe's Motor Speedway over the weekend. We've got NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Happy Hour tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern Time. And, of course, live flag-to-flag coverage, the NASCAR Banking 500 Saturday on ABC at 7 o'clock Eastern, beginning with NASCAR Countdown. We want some NASCAR Nationwide Series action. We'll have qualifying and the race for you tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Time and 7:30 Eastern Time, both on ESPN2. And how about sort of settling up what's going to happen throughout the weekend with NASCAR Now, presented by Wrangler. That is tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. So lots of motorsports coverage coming your way from here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, just outside of Charlotte. We're under caution here. There's the trail of oil, and there's some liquid coming out from underneath the 09 car. They're pushing the Sterling Marlin car back in the garage area. They'll back it in and make an engine change. Well, let's get an update on the 14 car of Tony Stewart. Shannon.
Well, Doc, we heard Tony Stewart say at the start of the practice session that he was going to work on qualifying trim only. So as he sits here in the garage, the team is right now putting on some fresh tires, putting a little more tape on the nose, some fuel in the car. He also said he would like this 14 car snugged up just a little bit. So they have made a track bar adjustment and some air pressure on this car. But guys, we talked about Tony Stewart being very optimistic coming back to the 1.5 miles. Well, there's another reason why he should be optimistic. This is the same car that he drove to Victory Lane in Kansas. These guys worked really hard to get it turned around because it's that good. Dave?
Greg Biffle getting ready to make his second attempt at a qualifying run on track. His car waiting in line there. One thing they did while they were down here is they put more tape on the grill. They closed off that area some more. And I talked to one of the motor guys and just asked him, you know, when it's cold like this, I mean, how much good data do you have? We practice so often, it seems like, in hot temperatures, or at least, you know, nice ambient temperatures. This is cold. He said, well, we got enough, but you kind of still learn as you go here. And they realized after that first run that they could definitely tape up the 16, get a little more downforce, get a little more heat in that motor.
Thanks, Dave. It's amazing how much just like a half an inch or 3/4 of an inch of tape will do in terms of the handling on a race car.
It makes a big difference in downforce, which changes everything, but it's a lot of speed, too. I mean, it reduces the drag. It puts more pressure on the nose. It's everything in the direction you want to go for speed, and you always try to tape it up as much as the engine temperatures will allow.
So you get a little more of a break on tape on a cool night like this because you can almost close it off. Yeah,
you don't need much of an opening tonight. I mean, especially if we're running just a couple of laps. If they cool the engine all the way down with a cool down unit, you could probably tape it completely up 100% and make that one lap you need to make with absolutely no opening.
Yeah, maybe with cranking down of the track bar or a little bit of wedge in that thing too, because as you said, it plants that nose a little bit more. Then you have to get the back end of the car into the racetrack to make you a little more secure, as we heard Shannon talking about. Tony Stewart wanted his snugged up a little bit.
Well, thus far in an abbreviated practice session, Mike Bliss. How about the impressive performance there by the 71 car? Bliss atop the speed charts. Ambrose is second. Ryan Newman third. Robbie Gordon is fourth. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in just a few laps, the 88 car, is fifth overall in this session. So these guys turning up the wick pretty quickly here, even though we've only been to track in a few minutes.
Yeah, not surprised to see Ryan Newman up there. I was reading a while ago. Ryan Newman has been here to make 15 qualifying attempts. 12 of those times he's qualified in the top 5. So I think he knows how the feel that he's looking for, and he knows how to go around here fast.
And he's got 8 poles in 15 tries. I mean, that's over half the races.
And 3 of the last 4 times we have qualified here, Ryan Newman has sat on the pole. So that's pretty impressive. There's a look at the practice thus far. You see Mike Bliss up there atop the charts. So Paul Menard is there. Joe Nemechek, a very small operation, running his own car. Tony Stewart trying to get his snugged up. And Sam Hornish Jr. continuing to be more and more impressive as this season goes on in that 77 car.
Precision handling, high-performance braking, smooth and comfortable ride. Tame the road, hand-cooked tires.
Oceans of shrimp are now at Golden Corral. For around $10, enjoy 10 endless premium dishes like our new shrimp scampi, lemon herb shrimp over tilapia, and tortellini with shrimp and lobster sauce.
Where else can you get all this for around $10? Nowhere!
Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
Ordinary toothbrushes are designed to clean your teeth. But the millions of bacteria that cause plaque and bad breath are all over your mouth. That's why you want the Cross-Action Pro Health from Oral-B. Unlike an ordinary toothbrush, the Oral-B Cross-Action Pro Health combines crisscross bristles, gum stimulators, and even a tongue cleaner. So brush away plaque and odor-causing bacteria to get a clean, healthy mouth with the Cross-Action Pro Health from Oral-B.
Hey, did you ever find tickets to Hawaii?
Hawaii 5-0. Book 'em, Dano. Aloha. Mele Kalikimaka. Surf lingo. Bruh, I was stoked when I caught that tasty barrel.
Seriously, did you price out tickets?
How to beat a traffic ticket. 10 proven methods traffic courts don't want you to know.
What are you talking
Talk
about?
turkey.
What?
Talk live with hot singles in your area. They're waiting.
Who's waiting?
Find the cure at Bing.com. It's not just a search engine, it's the first ever decision engine from Microsoft.
Are your credit cards maxed out? Just making minimum payments or even behind on your bills? Freedom Debt Relief's mission is to help you get rid of your credit card debt.
I had over $25,000 in credit card debt. Then I called Freedom Debt Relief and got my debt cut in half. I was debt-free in less than 24 months.
This is a unique program that will get you relief and on your way to being debt-free. Make the most important call of your life today.
Call Freedom Debt Relief now at 1-800-324-8991. That's 1-800-324-8991.
Track has been cleaned up and cleared, and now they have told the cars to fire up and head back out there, so the NASCAR Sprint Cup guys will get back on the racetrack. And if you just joined our coverage, we've had drizzling rain most of the day. It is a cool evening here. Temperatures right now in the upper 40s, supposed to be down in the lower 40s. And the lower the temperature right now, the higher the speed.
Well, you get a lot more grip with a cold racetrack. And already the practice speeds are higher than the pole speed was here in the spring.
I think the thing that you have to do in this situation is find that maximum grip with these tires, and that depends a lot on the air pressure as much as anything. A track like this might allow you to run a little bit more air pressure to maximize that grip, probably for just one lap. And I think that you can see higher speeds just as what we've started out seeing here.
Saw Mark Martin a moment ago in the 5 car. He is a 4-time winner at Lowe's Motor Speedway. His last win coming in the spring of 2002. Martin's first win, in fact, 3 of his 4 wins have come here in the fall. His first win was in 1992. There are 5 drivers entered this weekend who weren't born yet when Mark won his first race.
Well, you just watched the fastest lap that's been run so far right there. Mark Martin, 28:38. That's 190 miles an hour.
And here's the 83 car. We told you, and Dave Burns was telling you about what was going on back in the garage here, and they were having trouble getting it fired, and we have been told it was a solenoid. They had to replace a solenoid there to be able to get the starter to kick off the engine, and now he is on the racetrack.
I figured Dave Burns told him how he pushed off his duster, and that's what they did.
33 car. That is Clint Boyer. There's Clint. Differing paint schemes. Boy, these cars really stand out under the lights at night.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to have these night races. I think it makes everything look a little more spectacular. Even when I was in the driver's seat, I thought things looked a little more spectacular. But watching these races at night, these great paint jobs and paint schemes they have on them, just makes things a little more exciting and spectacular. I'm sure they're going to be Saturday night.
Oh, gosh, I got to believe they are. We talked about teams, Andy, the Richard Childress Racing team, and everybody was shocked that they didn't have a car in the chase, and they have worked so hard. And I think they're starting to see some dividends paid off. Last week, they had drivers. Boyer finished 9th, Harvick finished 10th, Mears finished 11th, and Jeff Burton probably would have finished 12th or 13th. He had not been involved in that chain reaction crash late. So they have all of their cars for RCR would have had a top 15 finish.
They really have made some headway. Now, I heard Gil Martin, the crew chief for Kevin Harvick, this week talking about how they had just gotten off on the wrong foot on some things, and how if you do that, you have to commit so much ahead of time to these cars that you're going to race with the certification process that we have now that the cars have to go through, that if you do go the wrong direction, it takes a while to turn that ship. I mean, you have to go back and redesign and rethink everything, and then you have to start sending those things back through the certification process and back through the fab shop, and it takes a while to get that ship kind of righted when you are going in the wrong direction. But they have done that, and RCR seems to be right on the right path now.
Yeah, you talked about those finishes. 11th was about the worst that Casey Mears could have done. He unfortunately got in the situation he stayed out on some tires that some of the others got tires. He ran great in the top 7 or 8 the last half of that race.
They were all chasing this guy the last half of that race at California. Jimmy Johnson now on the racetrack at a place they almost wanted to change the name of this place to Johnsonville because Jimmy had won 4 in a row. Won both races in 2004 and 2005, and also won in 2003. So a 5-time winner here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
This thing looks fast right there. I mean, it looked like he didn't even lift down in turns 1 and 2, and just hugging the bottom of the racetrack.
We'll see how he compares to Mark Martin's 28.38. Well, it's a little faster, 28.30. 800's faster than that.
28.30, that's P1.
And let's go back and update the 42 car. Juan Pablo Montoya involved in that shunt when he got into the back of the 31 car, and they had to make some repairs. Shannon?
Yeah, guys, I spoke with Brian Patty, crew chief for Juan Pablo Montoya, who was walking through the garage just as Juan was pulling out, and I asked him if they got all that front damage fixed, and he shrugged and said, good enough. Pretty important for these guys to get out there and get some laps right now, huh?
They got a big Band-Aid on the front of it, DJ.
Yeah, and the good thing about in fixing that now is they can just kind of tape over it. They didn't need that part of the grill opening for tonight. They're going to tape over that anyway, so they didn't have to do quite as much repair work as if they were trying to get ready for the race.
Track time much more important than cosmetics right now for these guys.
He went out and laid down a pretty good lap. He's 12th on the board right now to 28.64, so that's just over 3/10 behind Jimmy Johnson for leading time.
Montoya has only one top 10 finish here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. That coming back in May when he finished 8th.
Yeah, you've seen this year, though, you can take all those stats for Montoya in the past and throw them away because he is rewriting all that this year, especially in the chase.
6 top 5 finishes and 4 in a row, as you said, Andy, in the chase. Here is awesome Bill Elliott. Turned 54 about a week and a half ago. And he's excited not only to be here, but I got a chance to talk with Lynn and Eddie Wood last night at the Hall of Fame induction, and they were pumped because they are so excited to get the Wood Brothers team back on the racetrack. They will also run, by the way, Texas and Homestead, the other 1.5-mile tracks. Kevin Harvick in the 29 car. Remember how well he ran at this sister track when we were at Atlanta a few weeks ago? Led 66 laps and finished 2nd.
Yeah, boy, I say these tracks do look similar when you pull into them, the grandstands and the garage areas, but they are so totally different right now as far as the track surface. Atlanta has got so much abrasion and it's worn out so much, and the tires just fall
really
off.
good. I mean, I don't know what to tell you to do.
But this track has got a ton of grip. You can see 190-mile-an-hour speeds in practice. This track is so different in terms of grip.
Yeah, you can see here Kevin likes his race car. They're only 3/10 off of the quickest speed out there. He's in that 12th spot now, but he doesn't really know what he can do to make it go faster.
So he'll come down pit road, and why don't we ride along with the 11 car. Denny Hamlin, we told you that Denny, although he was having a good run and probably could have had a 3rd or 4th place finish, was involved in that late shunt and trying to protect his position at California, caught the front of the pit wall and came home with a DNF, a 37th place finish, which cost him 3 spots in the points.
Yeah, he moves up to 13th with that lap, 28.61.
And you really have to admire Denny. He stood up last week at the interview right after things happened and said that he made a mistake. And the thing that I would say to Denny Hamlin, hey, buddy, you're in a lot of company whenever it comes to really great race drivers making errors. Everybody's done it, and it's going to happen. The thing that you have to do is learn from those and rebound from them, and I think Denny's going to do that. He'll come out here and have a good race this weekend, I'm quite certain.
He's done well at Charlotte, particularly when he first came here. The first 4 starts at Charlotte, he had 3 top 10s. In fact, his best finish was the first time he came here. It was 8th back in 2005. He hasn't been so lucky the last 4 times he has come to Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Boss by 30 with the fancy chair. But he's learned more with these guys in this chair than he has anywhere. For every king, a throne. For every king, a crown. Crown Royal. Please drink responsibly.
Great tailgate party, huh, Duke? Duke?
Excuse me.
What?
I'm from the Tailgate Research Institute. Are those Bush's baked beans?
Wouldn't tailgate without them.
Excellent.
Bush's baked beans are slow cooked with a blend of spices. So whether you're serving sizzling hot dogs at home or juicy brats at the stadium, nothing goes with game day like Bush's baked beans.
It's official. Bush's baked beans are a game day hit.
And no one recognized you.
Jay, I'm a master of disguise.
Home or away, nothing goes with a big game like Bush's baked beans.
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at Cece's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
It's time to feel 12 drivers battling to the finish, under the lights. Time to feel the pressure of chasing a champion, and the fear of knowing that your chase is almost over. Feel the thrill of being on top for a 4th year in a row.
Great job, boys!
Feel that one mistake could cost everything. The NASCAR Banking 500, only from Bank of America at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Saturday at 7 Eastern on ABC.
Think about it. If you're buried up to your neck in debt, it can feel like creditors are trying to whack you on the head. Ouch. Whether you're in a financial hole or just want to get a loan, a better interest rate, or a new job, you're at the mercy of your credit score. Look, you can't fix errors on your credit report if you haven't seen it. That's why I went to freescore.com and found out my score for free. I'm practically giddy with excitement. Freescore.com gives me unlimited access to the 3 major credit reports and scores. Freescore.com even sends me an alert when there's any change to my credit report. Remember, knowing your credit score could be the difference between being down there and being up here. Get your credit score today at freescore.com.
Life costs more without Free Score.
Freescore.com.
A lot of work still going on back in the garage area. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series guys having about an hour of practice, and most of them are working on qualifying setup. Jeff Gordon has come a long way in the last 3 races in the chase. He's gone from 10th to 5th in the point standings, back-to-back runner-up finishes, finishing 2nd in Kansas and last week at California. I'd like to be able to get a win and maybe move in on this guy, his teammate, who right now sits atop the points by 12 points over Mark Martin. Let's go down to the Ryan Newman garage. Dave.
Going back out for his 3rd run, Doc. The first 2 were on the same set of tires. And to try to get some clearance here in the garage area, it's a little tight backing up. On the same set of tires the first 2 runs, and security getting into the corner was what he was looking for. With 8 poles here, you know how Ryan can hang it on the ragged edge for qualifying. So when he needs a little bit of security getting into the corner, I think they need to pay attention. So just a little bit loose for the 39. This will be on a new set of sticker tires. That was another question. Ryan, what do you think? Scuffs or stickers? He said, I'll let you know this run.
I've always said there's no tire like a new tire. But sometimes when this track is like it is now, it's kind of green and cold, scuff tire might actually be a little bit faster.
On the racetrack, here is the famous number 43, and of course made famous by the King, the all-time winningest driver in stock car history, Richard Petty. And last night, I was honored to be a part of the voting committee representing ESPN and ABC as Richard Petty was inducted into the inaugural class for the Hall of Fame. Bill France Sr., Bill France Jr., the King Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt Sr., and legendary driver / car owner Junior Johnson, the first class. And being there and seeing, I think the King even got a little emotional last night as they were showing his picture and calling his name, because how special is it to go in the very first ever class in the NASCAR Hall of Fame?
That's a big deal. I mean, this is going to be something great. And I saw the thing on Petty. He actually acted like it was another win. He said, now I feel like I've got 201 wins instead of 200 because that just felt like winning a race to be included in that first 5.
Yeah, I think it's something great, too, that we can give a little something back to Richard Petty that has given his whole life, and that family has to this sport to help it to grow and being probably the most popular figure that we've ever had in this sport. So congratulations to Richard and everyone else and their families for their induction in that first class.
And the voting was very close. I mean, but David Pearson and Cale Yarborough and Bobby Allison are right there on the cusp. They will not divulge the total vote counts, but they did tell me last night when we were there, the folks that counted the votes, that it was very, very close. And I was a part of the committee. It was very tough to try to pick 5 people. It could have been 10 or 11 that could have easily gone in the first year class.
A very exclusive class, that first 5. just to follow up on Ryan Newman, he did run just a little bit quicker on that sticker run, and about 3 or 4 hundredths quicker.
Yeah, he got a little closer to that front guy, but the top guy's changed. Greg Biffle's gone out there. We saw him earlier. He was the first guy on the racetrack. And now Jimmy Johnson's reclaimed that by quite a bit.
28.05, brother.
Wow, that says it all right there, Chad.
Man,
what's Jimmy saying?
I've experienced something like that before.
It's 192.5 miles an hour.
That's kind of the way these guys go about it. You go show your best, and then I'm going to show you what we've got next, and they just keep hanging on for a little bit more.
It's like Jimmy saying, not in my house, you don't. Shannon.
How much fun are Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus having right now? Like you said, this is their house. They've won so many races here, and that car is flat out flying right now. On the first run, Jimmy Johnson had one word to say about the 48 car, and that was just awesome. As you see Chad Knaus walking back to the garage, waiting for his driver. Man, you see that swagger. They know where they are. They're on top of the points, and they're in Lowe's Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Well, we heard Mark Martin say a while ago that he didn't really want to run another lap in qualifying trim.
Jimmy, we're done.
Unless somebody went out there and ran a flat. Well, guess what, Mark? Somebody did.
Yeah. I thought that car looked. When I watched that 48 car the first time, I thought it looked so good I could go qualified. So that thing looked like it was really glued to the racetrack, and Jimmy looked like his foot's got stuck on the throttle too this next time out. But all of the Hendrick cars once again are up there. They're all in the top 8 of the speeds right now. So that's 4 of them in the top 8.
Now, don't sell yourself short, DJ. You're a 3-time winner here at this racetrack and have had a very good career.
I don't think I sat on any poles here, though. That takes a difference. You've got to have a little different mindset and setup in you to go do that.
Jimmy Johnson, big smile when he comes in, and I think when you saw the swagger and the smile on Chad Knaus's face, you knew they were ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, he says, get you some of that, boys.
Well, can somebody go out and get the best time in speed? Remember, this is the practice session coming up later tonight. We will be here live as we'll have the NASCAR Nationwide Series final practice coming up next. And then after that, we are going to have live coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. So we're going to find out all in one evening who's got the best of the best and who can put it on when it comes time to line them up and qualify.
Having a lot of fun, these guys are.
It's an extremely long day for these crew guys as I watch them keep performing. They've been out here a long time, since earlier today, getting their cars through inspection, sitting around waiting to see if they were going to get to do anything. When your car goes out there and performs, you don't mind working on it a little longer, do you, Andy?
Now I get a little swagger in your step, just like we saw with Chad Knaus.
Let's go out to a former racetrack winner here at Charlotte. There's the former champion, Bobby Labonte. He won this race here back in 2000 when he went on to win the championship.
You know, we've said for a long time, we go back to Indianapolis and talk about how many drivers and teams that win the Brickyard 400 going to win the championship. But I think this has always been a good benchmark, too, as to where your team stands. And that's very obvious with the way Jimmy Johnson and his team perform. But if you can perform well at this racetrack, I think you've got your team where it needs to be in championship form.
Here's rookie Scott Speed, and see how he can do. His teammate, the Chaser, been struggling a little bit. Brian Vickers right now 37th on the speed chart. Let's see what Scott can do.
Yeah, Scott Speed's 18th on the practice sheet so far, and he has qualified better of late. He just hasn't raced as well. He's out-qualified his teammate a couple of times here in the last few races of Brian Vickers. And, you know, Brian seems to struggle in qualifying trim here lately, but races better.
He's still really new to this type of racing, and he's shown that he's able to go fast, just as you said, but trying to get your car set up for 400- and 500-mile races takes a little different mindset, too, as we see Jeff Gordon here just goes out and runs a little faster lap. He's 5th on the speed chart now.
These Hendrick guys are having fun out there putting laps up. Let's see what Jeff comes in now 5th overall, and we'll go in and make some adjustments. Let's see what cousin Carl can do. Carl Edwards out here trying to get his Ford up in the top 10 in speed.
Right now he is 36th. I almost have to think he would be in race trim to be that far back. I can't imagine he would be that far back if he was in qualifying trim.
Yeah, the only thing we don't see a lot of laps on the board is he's only been out there for 5 laps before he completes this one.
Talked about the fact that he has not had a win this year, and we are getting confirmation in the garage area that he is in qualifying trim. We'll see if this lap here does make a difference. If he picks it up somewhat.
We saw some of this at New Hampshire. He was in the high 30s in practice, went out there and qualified in the top 5.
But when they did that, they said they got some information from Biffle's team, and Biffle's sitting there. Had just been bumped back to 3rd as Mark Martin goes into that 2nd spot. He did go back out there and run again.
They were talking about how Biffle's team and some of the other Roush Fenway guys had made some adjustments on the new bump stop that they were using, and it made a huge difference. In fact, Biffle used it at Kansas and went out there and just dominated the race, and had a good run, led 113 laps to finish 3rd. So maybe the Roush Fenway guys are starting to really catch up and catch on to something here. Biffle right now being shown 3rd overall on the speed chart. Chasing these guys, Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson.
Tuesday nights, the countdown to the final table is on. The main event field is down to 64 and loaded with top pros, who will move one step closer to $8.5 million. The World Series of Poker, Tuesday at 9 on ESPN.
When it's real, you know when it's real. When it's real, you know when it's real.
Bark, scratch my belly. Bark, bark, bark.
Wendy's burgers are always fresh and cooked the hot and juicy way. We never freeze them like a hockey puck or keep them stocked like some others may in a warming tray. A philosophy, yes, good old honesty. Come on, let's face it. You know real by how we make it. When it's real, you know when it's real. You know when it's real.
It's Macy's Men's Wardrobe Sale, where savings and style come together. Update your wardrobe with the best brands at prices that can't be beat. Get moving on your new look for fall. Go to Macy's.com for your savings pass to save even more.
Come together.
Macy's Men's Wardrobe Sale. That's the magic of Macy's.
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at CC's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
That's cool. 1800 just poured me a shot. What can your top do? Nothing. 1800 tequila. Change the game.
We invite you to join us under the lights here at Lowe's Motor Speedway for live flag-to-flag coverage of NASCAR Banking 500, only from Bank of America. Saturday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on ABC, beginning with NASCAR Countdown. Sentimental favorite Mark Martin is a 3-time winner at this racetrack in the fall race. That ties in with Bobby Allison and Cale Yarborough, a couple of legendary drivers. Can Mark Martin do it again as he tries to now hunt down points leader Jimmy Johnson? Final minutes of this practice session. Let's check in the garage area with Shannon.
Juan Pablo Montoya not happy with his setup right now. He brought it in before that last run. They changed the entire thing. He said, listen, guys, we can qualify the way it is and we'll qualify 25th, or we can make some changes and try to get up front. But with the damage on the front of this car and the setup not being right, it's been a very eventful half hour for this 42 team. Dave?
Shannon, the 9 car of Casey Kane was as high as 6th on the board earlier, and they made their biggest gains when they shifted the truck arms underneath the car and changed the balance of that car just a little bit. Picked up about 3/10 when they made that change. But on the final run that Casey made before he parked it for this session, the car was still a little bit too tight getting into the corner. Remember, Newman's problem was security getting in a little bit too loose. Casey had the opposite problem, and they'll have to correct that as they go out to make their qualifying run later tonight, right here on ESPN2.
Thanks, guys. So a lot of work to go on down in the garage area. You think you're good, and suddenly you're not real good, and then suddenly you make a change and you're pretty bad. So that then you get real nervous because you know you got just a minute or so left, and you got to qualify next time you're on the racetrack.
You think you're good, and then somebody goes out there and runs quite a bit faster and makes you realize you're not quite as good as you thought you were.
Why do they do that? I guess it's called racing. Here's Max Pappas trying to get his Toyota dialed in.
Yeah, he needs to pick it up, though. He's 43rd. Just about a second off of Jimmy Johnson's time.
Max's best qualifying effort of the year came last week at California Auto Club Speedway, where he qualified 15th. His best start and finish of the year was 8th at Watkins Glen. This would be his 13th start of the season. Red and black flags being waved, signifying the fact that this practice session, the only practice session for the NASCAR Sprint Cup cars prior to qualifying, and we will have happy hour coming your way tomorrow. But this session is over. Now these guys will go back to the garage area and see if indeed they've got anything for those guys at the top of the list there, Jimmy Johnson and Mark Martin.
Yeah, you see Clint Boyer actually jumped up right there at the end. He's actually third quickest.
How about some of the guys in the chase that have some work to do? Carl Edwards and Brian Vickers, guys, 36th and 38th right now in this session. And, boy, that's got to worry. If you're those guys and you know you got to go back on the racetrack and try to qualify here after the nationwide practice, what are you thinking about?
You're thinking about going over your teammate and find out if they were pretty fast and what their car, how different it may be, and what they might have felt in a change. Because you have to do something. You have to make a swing at it here. You can't obviously leave your car to run that speed. Just trying to throw some tape at it or a little air pressure is not going to get the job done.
No, they're not. And they're going to throw, like you said, they're going to throw everything they can, especially at Carl Edwards. He's going to go see Greg Biffle, and they're going to sit down and say, okay, what have you got? Compare notes. And if it's quite a bit different, they're going to just throw all that stuff in his car and then go out there and see what they can get. Because obviously they can't do a lot worse. They're 36th in this session.
I think I'm going to walk down the garage area and talk to Carl Edwards to see what's going on down there, because we're going to be able to get up for a minute, because the nationwide cars are going to be coming out of the garage and go to practice, and we're going to have Marty Reed and Rusty Wallace step in to cover the nationwide final practice session, and then we're going to jump back in and cover live flag to flag the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. When we come back, Marty and Rusty with the nationwide cars.
Monopoly game is back and it's on. Look, I've got a railroad.
Yeah, but you gotta collect the others.
Or I could win instantly.
Is that right?
Yeah, babe. I can even play on my cell. There's even an online chance to win $1 million every day.
Every day.
Yep.
The Monopoly game is back and better than ever. You can win instantly.
Xbox 360?
Or play online for a daily chance at $1 million.
Is that good?
No. I'll take it.
Uh-huh. Don't touch, just look.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
My dad smiles a lot.
3. We think alike.
Even when he thought he might lose his job.
Now let me get back to work.
All right, I'll catch you later. He says he doesn't think about it much. But I don't believe him. I think he does it for us. Sometimes doing the right thing is just making people happy.
I've seen just about everything. Seen queens overthrow kings, and straights flushed away. I felt the sweat after every re-raise, and nearly buckled after bad beats. Seen rags lead to riches, and witnessed countless miracles on the river. So if you want to play, take a seat and show me something I haven't seen. We play at FullTiltPoker.net.
This is the card that bought the saw, that cut the lumber,
that built the extra space I needed to store more produce,
that she sold to me to make my menu more organic.
Introducing Ink from Chase, the card that helped make it all happen. Because it's accepted in twice as many places worldwide as American Express, with reward points worth 25% more when redeemed for air travel. Make your mark with Ink. Go to chase.com/ink. Chase what matters.
And welcome back to our continuing coverage as the first practice for the Sprint Cup Series is over, and we're going to have our first and only, so it makes it final as well, in the NASCAR Nationwide Series here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. And those are the cars back in the garage area. As if we take a look back just one race ago, remember the dramatic finish at the end between that car and the 20? Oh, yeah. Joey Logano picks right up where he left off last week.
Greg Biffle, 16, sliding to the inside of Logano for the top spot and into the wall.
It was obvious it was intentional. I mean, Greg's too good of a driver to do that accidentally.
He said he was going to do it on the radio.
Put me in the wall. Hit my left front fender and put me in the wall.
I don't know what happened. I think he turned down a little bit. little girl thinks you did that on purpose.
It's a shame that we got raced against cowards like that.
Joey with the wounded car, but Joey's out in front. What a comeback for Joey Logano.
After Biffle decided to put us in the wall, apparently I think the only way he thought he can beat us, but you can't put this 20 team down.
If he's going to race me like that, I'll race him like that. You know, what comes around goes around in this sport, I think.
So the love continues in the Nationwide Series as Joey Logano, who is looking to go for his third in a row here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, as we take a look at the point standings with just 5 races remaining. And boy, because of that late race crash involving Denny Hamlin after he had subbed for Kyle Busch, he lost 90 points to Carl Edwards, and it's only 155 markers back to second place now. One more DNF or a problem like that, and we may just have ourselves a points championship hunt after all. And remember the battle for 5th, and also lurking back in 7th, Jason Keller is only 50 points behind Stephen Wallace.
Yeah, don't look back, because Jason Keller's been running really well of late. I mean, he's got that car very consistent week in and week out, Marty. He's got his eyes on that top 5 positions. It's going to be hard to get up to 4th, but he could make it to 5th. Keller could.
And he has 4 finishes in a row, 15th or better, and that's how good it has been. All right, Kyle Busch was sick last week, and the word is he's still not 100%. Let's check in with Jamie Little.
Well, he just climbed inside his Nationwide car, coughing a little bit, but I'm told that he's feeling pretty good, back to normal. And what a great place for him to turn things around and get back on track. As you mentioned, he lost 90 points last weekend. Now he's won here 4 times in the Nationwide Series. He's getting strapped in there, bright pink fire suit on. Talked to Jason Ratcliffe, his crew chief, and he told me his one concern about this really cold temperature right now is that the speeds are going to be up and the car will have a tendency to bottom out. So they're going to keep an eye on that at Shannon. But one thing is for sure, these teams are excited to get back to work. They've been here since 7 a.m.
Jamie, let's go back in time a little bit. Let's go back to the beginning of the season. Daytona, when the checkered flag flew at that race, it was one Tony Stewart who found himself in victory lane. Well, Tony Stewart is back in the Nationwide Series this weekend. He is in the 5 Junior Motorsports car. This is his first and only start for Junior Motorsports. Now, Tony Stewart, obviously running for a Cup championship on the Cup side, says it does not take away any of his focus. He comes over here and just has a blast. The team says they're going to spend the majority of this, the most of this practice, in race trim. Tony Stewart does have to qualify on time, but the 5 car has made every race this season that they've attempted to qualify, so they feel pretty good about their chances with smoke behind the wheel. Marty?
And they should, Shannon. He has 6 wins in his last 11 Nationwide Series starts. I think that would be considered success in anybody's book. Talk about early success out on the racetrack, and all eyes would be focused on the 66 of Stephen Wallace. He is number 2. He was number 1, but Mike Bliss just bumped him down. And there is his old nemesis, Justin Allgaier, right in front of him.
I tell you, those two are 5th and the 6th in the point standings right now. They really want to get that top 5 marker done, because they're going to honor top 5 guys at the banquet when they get down to Florida at the end of the year. So a lot of competition between these two right now, and you can tell it on the track. They keep finding themselves around each other all the time, Marty.
52 points separate this duo. Take you back last week. They found each other late in the race. Allgaier down low, gets so close and ends up with some contact, and the 66 ends up with a flat tire.
Yeah, Steven got a flat left front tire. You can see him really disappointed right there. He had a great run, running the top 5 throughout the race. In fact, this is the very same car that he raced last week. He said, look, that car was so good that I want to bring it back. So they rushed it across California to North Carolina, put a fender on it, repainted it, and brought the same car back.
Well, what was interesting during that entire race was the ebb and flow. At one point, Steven was up by 50 points, because remember, Allgaier got himself way back in the back of the pack. And then by the end of the race, it was 52 points the other direction.
Oh, yeah, that was unbelievable. I mean, if we saw point changes like that in this NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, it'd be monumental. But, yeah, up 50, down 50, very, very tough to call, because you can tell these two, like I said earlier, just trying to race each other.
Here's a guy who is literally driving potentially for his job. Eric Darnell, 4th quickest, now up to 3rd quickest with that last lap at 30.21 seconds. That's 178.7 miles an hour. And the reason is Jack Roush right now just does not have any funding for this car, for this ride for Darnell next year. They're still trying, but as of right now, it's up in the air.
Well, I tell you, a lot of teams right now are struggling, Marty, trying to find the money to run next year with, but a lot of good drivers out there, too. I'll never forget this year where Darnell put on a heck of a great performance at Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and grabbed that pole at Milwaukee and continues to qualify this number 6 Northern Tools car great all the time. So, you know, knowing Roush like I know Jack, he'll probably find some funding for him before the year's out.
Now, of course, David Reagan has also been in this number 6 car this year. And here is the breakdown as you compare them. Eric's had 13 starts with 2 top 5s and 5 top 10s. And Reagan's had a lot more success, 13 top 10s, 5 of those in the top 5. And, of course, the 1 win, and their average finish right there at 11 to 13.2.
Well, there's no doubt about one thing, that Reagan's had more time in the car. He's got more experience in the Nationwide Series right now than Eric does. But Eric's had good runs also. So, I mean, I like what this kid's been doing. He's been consistent. He hasn't been tearing any cars up. He's been smooth on the racetrack. I watch his driving style and it looks good. And talk about good driving styles. This number 5 car with Tony Stewart. Last time I saw this car, one of the last times, was Daytona this year when he won in it.
And the 18 right behind him with Kyle Busch on the mend after the flu last week. As you're on board with Tony, looking back. Right now, Stewart third fastest at 30.16. Laps are really coming down. And really, the benefit that these guys have gotten is that 1 hour practice by the Sprint Cup.
Oh, that was really good, Marty, getting that practice in the Sprint Cup cars. For one thing, it built a lot of confidence in these guys, especially Kyle Busch and Tony Stewart that we're watching right now. But, you know, all the Nationwide guys are on the racetrack right now. I've talked to quite a few, and they're very, very happy that they were going to be the second ones out. They know they're going to get on a racetrack that was already rubbered in and in good condition, rather than going out cold turkey and those guys being the guinea pig on this cold racetrack. So it's good for these guys right now.
Remember Kyle back in 2004 at age 18? It was his first Nationwide Series start. It was right here at Lowe's back in the May event. He started 5th and ended up finishing 2nd. It was an omen of things to come. And there's Carl Edwards making the transition. Brian Vickers as well as practice continues here at Lowe's.
The Craftsman Auto Hammer. The hammer that goes where other hammers can't. Driving home nails with the touch of a button. Innovation, better value. Craftsman. Trust in your hands.
Running a team and my racing keeps me pretty busy. I need insurance that's on my side. That's why the Earnhardt family's had Nationwide insurance for more than 30 years. I get the coverage that I need at the right price for me. That's what you can get when you call 1-866-500-5555. I trust them. You can too. That's on your side. Get a quote today.
I was getting depressed because of all the stress I was feeling at home. Had a poor credit score and the number would haunt me wherever I go. Thought I'd move to a place where my credit could stink and nobody would care. I just wish that somebody had told me that place was a Renaissance fair. FreeCreditReport.com. Tell your friends, tell your dad, tell your mom. Never mind, they've been singing our songs since we first showed up with our pirate hats on. If you're not into fake sword fights, pointy slippers and green wool tights, take a tip from a knight who knows. FreeCreditReport.com. Let's go!
Offer applies with enrollment in Triple Advantage.
The second-ranked Crimson Tide look to take the next step in their quest for an SEC title as they battle South Carolina. ESPN College Football Prime Time. South Carolina, Alabama. Saturday at 7:45 Eastern. College football lives here.
You know how your engine feels. And when it's running clean, you feel it. Which is why Pennzoil Motor Oil doesn't just help prevent sludge. Pennzoil actively cleans out sludge, up to 15% the first time you use it. So make your next oil change a Pennzoil change and feel the clean. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
5-quart bottles of Pennzoil, $11.50. Pennzoil High Mileage Vehicle, $12.50. Now at Walmart.
Just bake, slice, and serve. Plus, it's dishwasher safe. Perfect Brownie Pan comes with the gooey and chewy recipe guide for only $19.95. You'll also receive these decorative stencils to make festive treats free. You get the complete Perfect Brownie Pan, 10 stencils, and recipe guide for only $19.95.
To order Perfect Brownie for $19.95 plus additional processing and handling, call 1-800-790-3219. That's 1-800-790-3219. Don't wait. Call now at 1-800-790-3219.
NASCAR Nationwide Series Final Practice, brought to you by McDonald's and Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Going to take a peek at the Braun Racing team. They have got the bold pink look this week. All three cars. The 38 of Jason Leffler there. The 32 that Brian Vickers is behind. And the 10 of Reed Sorensen. And that is, of course, for Susan G. Komen, breast cancer awareness. And the cars really look good.
I tell you, they do look good. They're really staying out at the racetrack real well. And they're all pretty fast, too. I mean, these cars, week in and week out, always perform well on the racetrack. And Todd Braun wanted to help out the cause and paint them all pink and try to raise some money, bring some awareness to this to Susan G. Komen Foundation.
And you see Vickers just jumped from 19th to 6th on his lap as he just turned one at 13.13 seconds, 179. And you're asking, Marty, who's number one in the bank right now? Well, it would be the number 43 of Casey Kane. And boy, is he glad that we're getting this practice and qualifying in, because if they had set this based on points, he would not be in the show.
So he's got a chance to qualify tomorrow and get this baby qualified. Like Marty said, I mean, we really thought this afternoon there was so much rain around here, Marley. We thought that all this stuff was going to get canceled and these guys were going to start by points, but NASCAR's done a great job, got this track dried out, got these guys out there.
And of course, he's in the Toyota as the deal was worked out so that Casey could be in this number 43. And right now he's got the best time at 29.83 seconds. First car over 181. Shannon, you've got more?
Yeah, that paint scheme looks good, guys, huh?
It does.
It looks really nice out on the track. I was speaking with Trent Owens today, who's actually not the crew chief on the 43, but he is a Braun Racing crew chief for Brian Vickers, and he is also the nephew of Richard Petty, who obviously drove that famed number 43. He told me that every time he's seen that car in the shop this week, he's gone up to it, he's rubbed it, he's polished it a little bit. He said, man, I would love to be calling the shots for that team this weekend just because of the novelty of that 43 car. But he says he's pretty happy over there with Brian Vickers in that 32. They came very close to winning, Brian Vickers, that is, earlier this season. And they feel great about their chances this weekend.
And you can see that we still have moisture in the air. It's not really like a rain or anything, and it certainly hasn't brought out the red flag situation, but you can see how humid it is, and there's this very, very light mist. So while they take the tire temperatures, let's check in on Joey Logano. Some of the statistics, when you look back on Joey's career, he is actually, at this stage of his career, ahead of pace from his teammate Kyle Busch.
He's doing fantastic. And I got to tell you, I was one of the guys when Joey Logano first came on this scene. I thought that, hey, he ran good the first time he won. That was maybe a fluke. He was in a good car, but you know what? He came back and did it again, then again, and again, and right now he's got 6 wins. I mean, this guy is solid. He just runs good week after week in this car, and Joey is the real deal. I think everybody is proud of the way he's running, that's for sure.
5 of those wins, he has passed Kyle Busch.
And that doesn't make Kyle Busch happy. I can tell you, because Kyle is definitely the veteran of the bunch. And Joey, for whatever reason, just keeps outrunning him all the time.
Jamie, you've got more?
And all of those passes happened for the final lead there. It was unbelievable, the difference between the 18 and the 20. And you guys are talking about Joey Logano. He's running right now. I think he's going to do one more lap. He said, you hear a lot of this landing because of the banking being so steep. He said he's a little tight landing and a little free on exit. So he was going to run one more lap. He says it's arcing really well. Andy, what does that mean exactly?
Well, if you're talking to Rusty, it'd be me, Jamie, this time up here in the studio right now. But it's arcing real good, meaning he's up against the wall. He's able to make a late turn off the wall down to the bottom of the racetrack, and that's what you want to do. A driver does not want to enter real straight here at Charlotte, into turn 1 or into turn 3. You want to stay way out, and obviously Joey's got that car doing what he wants to get done.
He can become the 8th driver to win 3 in a row in Nationwide Series history. The last to do it, that guy right there in the 18, Kyle Busch, back in 2008.
That 18 car and that 20 car, we were talking this afternoon, every time you see them on the racetrack, guys, they look absolutely identical. The bodies on the cars, the way they've been performing, the way they've been qualifying. I talked to Coach Gibbs about 3 or 4 months ago, and he said, you know what, Rusty, I got my nationwide program really figured out. Now I'm going to get the Cup cars better. But these cars are absolutely, every week they come to the track, all the competitors look at those two guys. Those are the guys they want to beat, Kyle Busch and Joey Logano.
It's been about 11 races, though, since Kyle has tasted victory lane. In a bit of a drought. He's got the most wins of anybody, 6. As you can see him going around the 5 of Tony Stewart.
It's been a while since Stewart's been in a nationwide car. In fact, I do kind of wonder why he's doing this, because it brings up the question about risk versus reward. Why would a guy who's in the chase for the championship run a nationwide race the race before? But a lot of these deals are structured ahead of time, and the guys just cut the deals, and, you know, above all, they like racing.
Well, and there's 16 double-duty drivers. 5 of them are chase competitors, including Tony Stewart, and he has not had a lot of good luck at this track, Shannon.
Well, he hasn't started in the Nationwide Series here at Charlotte since 2006. But talking about luck, so far luck is on their side. They're pretty happy with the car. Tony said it is just a little bit tight out there right now, but all in all, it is pretty good. They just made some shock changes when they brought that car in. Right now, just out there running some laps and trying to get a feel for it, shake it down, make sure no rubbing going on underneath that car for that front air dam. But other than that, things are good for the 5 car.
Rusty was talking about risk reward. Let's take you back and show you what some of the risks actually are. There's 2006. He was 4th in Cup points leaving Lowe's in 2006, but he ended up missing the chase, ended up being relieved by Ricky Rudd the following race at Dover. And there he is at May 28th.
You know, it's just a lot of impacts that these guys have taken in the nationwide cars. And actually, the big picture is the Sprint Cup Series, especially when they're to chase for the championship. But, you know, who am I to question guys like this? I mean, these are talented drivers that just want to do it. But people do ask that question, why are they doing it?
And here's his last 4 Charlotte races in just the Nationwide Series. The best was 16th. Now, he has a total of 7 starts here. His best finish overall was 3rd, but he still hasn't won here in the Nationwide Series.
Well, I'm a pretty optimistic guy, and I think that's going to change, Marty. I don't know if he'll win or not. He obviously got the talent in the car to do it, but I think we'll have a much better finish. Tony's drove these cars several times. They know how they handle, but he'll be one of the guys that'll tell you that everything you learn off these nationwide cars, nothing will change over to the Sprint Cup cars. They're just that much different.
Right now, he is 6th on the speed charts, 29.98 seconds, 180 and change. You know, and we were on board with him there for a while. Let's talk a little bit about the fact we're going to be racing at night tomorrow night and again on Saturday night. There are tracks that look differently under the lights to drivers. Is this one of them?
Well, this is one of them. I remember when they first put lights around this speedway, it was given a lot of flashes in the sides of the helmets, and the light people come around and made some adjustments. But this was one of the first racetracks that drivers, including myself, had to get accustomed to. And we were all nervous about it when we first came here to Charlotte, but it made for great racing. The track is well lit, like you see right there. But on the left-hand side, you see those lights going by like strobes? That's what was bugging everybody. But now the drivers are used to it, and they have adjusted the lights so everything's better.
So Tony pulls it down below the white line, still running 6th. Casey Kane is at the top of the charts. Matt Kenseth is 2nd. Brian Vickers 3rd. Mike Bliss is 4th in that number 11 ride. Well, right now we're being told there might be a driver change. David Gilliland was scheduled to be in this number 1. And who is it? Looks like Sterling Marlin.
I saw Sterling walking by with that uniform on earlier. I thought he was just coming from the Cup garage and wanting to say hello to these guys, but it looks like they've plugged him in that James Finch car. James and Sterling are great friends, and we know Sterling knows how to get it done. But that is pretty peculiar, having a driver change right in the middle of this practice session.
Especially when there isn't that much practice to go in this session. And Shannon, what's the story here?
Well, you guys killed all the fun. I was going to ask you to try to identify the driver behind the helmet, but you guys definitely figured it out. It is Sterling Marlin. David Gilliland's name is still on the side of this car, and Gilliland will drive this car in the race tomorrow night. They have Sterling over here just shaking down the car because David is also in the Cup race. And at least he has to qualify for the Cup race in a Joe Gibbs racing car, and really didn't want to try to mix things up jumping back and forth. David had been scheduled to shake down this car in practice in the very first nationwide practice. Of course, that was rained out. So just to give David a little extra time on the Cup side, not to confuse him, Sterling's over here just for this practice. Sterling will not race the car. It will be David Gilliland, so just helping out a friend.
Great update, Shan. Thanks.
That is a great update, and I will tell you, that is a very smart decision out of David Gilliland. I really like that move. Like we said earlier, these cars are so much different than the Cup cars, and the car that David is driving on the Cup Series is a Gibbs car, the number 02, and he's got to get that thing in by qualifying it. So if he practices these nationwide cars, like I said, it's a different feeling. It could really affect him and mess him up when it comes time to qualify to get in this Sprint Cup race tonight.
And as we come back out on track, that was Ricky Stenhouse that you saw there. Stenhouse in the 17, 23rd on the speed charts.
Hey, they got really got a condensed practice tonight. These guys were scheduled for about 2.5 hours of total practice, and this is broke down to about an hour and a half, so they know that they've really got to pay attention. I talked to several drivers down in the Nationwide garage earlier, and they were concerned about this. They really knew that they had an hour and a half to get everything done, get the cars handling good under these cold conditions, and do some mock-up qualifying runs. A lot of focused drivers down there at the point.
Yeah, that paint scheme on the 17, you're saying, wait a minute, that looks an awful lot like the 60 when it's the Save-A-Lot Ford, but that is Ricky Stenhouse, and then there is Carl, second in the points now by 155, and he did not have a very successful Sprint Cup practice. He's like 36th on the speed charts there, but here he just jumped up to 7th.
Tell you, you guys might remember a couple years ago at the Brickyard 400 when Tony Stewart was running down Kevin Harkin. He goes, "Here, kitty, kitty, here I come." He's doing the same thing right now to Kyle Busch. I mean, he could smell it. He was over 250 behind. Now he's only 150-something. One mistake out of Kyle Busch, Carl's going to be right on his rear end, tromping on it to pass him in these points.
Well, we were listening in on the radio, and he was talking about the sway bar.
Make sure to look at the sway bar, sidewall clearance, all that stuff. There's a lot of force on the tire out there. Okay, 10-4.
All right, for more, let's check in at the Craftsman Tech Garage with Tim Brewer. Tim, what are they talking about?
Know exactly what they're talking about, Marty. Look at the sidewall of this tire right here. You see this extra area right here that's been rubbed? That tire deflects so much, actually comes over, and the bolt head right there, that's where the tire's actually rubbing, because when the guys are going through the corner, the sidewall is literally coming this way as the car goes through the corner, and you have to have all this stuff clearance to make sure that you don't have any issues at 190 miles an hour getting down in the corner.
All right, great description. As there's Carl pulling back in to the garage area. And while we've got a moment, let's check in on the calendar because we've got a busy weekend for you. In fact, it'll start with happy hour tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN2 for the Sprint Cup Series. And then the NASCAR Banking 500 will be Saturday at 7 Eastern on ABC. And if you're into nationwide racing, our qualifying will be at 3 Eastern and the race at 7:30 Eastern, both on ESPN2. And then don't forget, we're going to be all the way through qualifying on the Cup. And then don't forget NASCAR Now presented by Wrangler tomorrow at 6 Eastern on ESPN2. Tony Stewart back in the garage area, as is Carl Edwards. We'll step aside for a quick break. We got to figure out what's going on with the side of that car.
Got some tricks there.
Man, I'm hungry.
Here, have a Snickers. It's packed with peanuts.
Wow. My hunger's just gone.
I wonder where it goes.
Why?
I don't know, maybe Germany?
The Hunger Ice with Snickers.
This is the card that bought the saw,
that cut the lumber,
that built the extra space I needed to store more produce,
that she sold to me to make my menu more organic.
Introducing Ink from Chase, the card that helped make it all happen. Because it's accepted in twice as many places worldwide as American Express, with reward points worth 25% more when redeemed for air travel. Make your mark with Ink. Go to chase.com/Inc. Chase what matters.
The all-new pocket-sized, download-only PSP Go.
PlayStation.
Phil Ivey is no Cinderella. He's not a fluke, long shot, or happy accident. His fairy godmother didn't give him 7 bracelets. Fate didn't make him the best poker player in the world. And it wasn't Lucky Charms that got him to the final 9. On November 10th, Phil Ivey sits down at the final table of the world's greatest poker tournament. Enough with the fairy tales.
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at CiCi's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
Winning is awesome, and so is getting your next car at a wholesale price. Now, the secret is out. Copart has made it easy and given you access to bid and win on vehicles you've never been able to buy before. Become a registered buyer today at Copart.com and get access to this incredible inventory right now. Feel what it's like to win at Copart.com. A lot of action back in the garage area for the Nationwide Series here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Our first and only practice before we qualify tomorrow at 3 Eastern. And there is the 20 of Joey Logano. They are making some changes based on what they heard on the radio.
3 and 4 is our problem corner. I'm good into the corner. I roll out of gas and raise the center off the gas. I'm tight. And then when I get back to the gas, I get loose because I got so much freaking wheel on the thing. It changes direction. I think it's only loose exits because I got so much more wheel on it than I do on 1 and 2.
I tell you what, that is a common problem here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Turn 1 and 2 is pretty easy to get through. The car stays stuck in the bottom, but turn 3 and 4, everybody seems to lose the front end in the center of the corner. You'll see all these teams working on that, and I really liked how Joey was explaining that. He said he gets down the center to Fiesta, he actually loses the front end, but he's got the wheel turned to the left more than you normally would have, and when you get back in the throttle, it actually rotates the car, makes them loose. So they've got to fix the center of the corner so he's consistent all the way through that, and right now that's his problem area, like he was saying.
He's currently 7th. His teammate Kyle Busch has moved into the number 2 spot at 181.35 miles an hour, and Kyle's still out there. In fact, Kane, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Mike Bliss, and then Matt Kenseth. That's your top 5. 4 of those are past Nationwide Series winners here at Lowe's. The man who has yet to win, the 88, Brad Keselowski.
Well, I'll tell you what, as fast as Brad's been running this year, I wouldn't doubt that this guy gets in the victory lane. He's been consistent. And also, it's been well documented that he's moving on next year over to Penske Racing to drive that number 12 Cup car, and also announced that he'll be driving a full Nationwide Series also.
We've got contact out on the racetrack. The 81 has hit the wall. That's Kevin Hamlin. And that is the first mangled fenders we've seen both in Sprint Cup action and now Nationwide Series tonight.
By. You're good to come down there.
Man, I'll tell you, that thing is the right side. We saw that shot a little while ago. That thing is ruined. Take a look at that, the right front corner, and that's definitely a backup car. There's no doubt about that, because that front frame section's got to be bent, and these cars are not near as strong as the Cup cars. You see those guys bouncing off the wall all the time, but these Nationwide cars, they cannot handle that same abuse.
All right, let's see what we can find out from here. Oh, it's already happened at that point. He's already peeling the paint.
Yeah, he looks like he's had a high entry into turn 1. He's got up in the wall and is riding the wall all around right now, but definitely a backup car for him.
Can't tell if a tire went down first or whether or not he just lost it, but bad news for Kevin Hamlin. As
you know, Marty, a lot of guys are concerned about this racetrack. The track's in great condition. The tires are great, but you're running so fast at this track, and it's nighttime right now. The track's kind of hard. And, you know, of all the racetracks we run on this series, this tire right here requires more air pressure than any place we go to, believe it or not. And so a lot of drivers are thinking about grip And he just could have lost it and got up in the wall, and that caused, he might not have lost that right front tire. We didn't get a good shot of that, but my suspicion is that he just kind of got loose getting at the corner.
I was talking to a couple of the guys, including Jason Leffler, before, though. He said this is not an abusive track on tires.
No, it's not abusive at all on the tires. It's just Goodyear's had to bring such a tough tire to withstand these high speeds that it is one of the harder tires. And because it's hard, the tire doesn't wear much. And that does create a problem when it comes to grip. You know, we'll talk later about the touchy parts of this racetrack where you got to be careful at.
Hey, we've got action going back in the garage area with the 33 of Ryan Newman. What's going on, Jamie?
Well, he went out on his first run and he came back in and said, I want my steering wheel moved to the left a little bit. So they did that. Then he went out on his second run and he said that the brake pedal is catching on the column because of the placement. So they've been spending, it's been about 7-8 minutes now in the garage fixing that. So I want more of an explanation on that. And of course, we go over to our Craftsman Tech Garage and check in with Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Jamie. Hey, the steering column, the guys are going to adjust it left, right. But how do they do that? Right in this area right here. This is actually affixed to the bar that goes across here, and you can loosen this bracket up and move it. But where he's touching, right here. You see this? This is the steering column right here. Brake pedal setting in this area right here. You have to be very particular about where you locate it, but they're very good to catch something like that with no more clearance than what they had.
And it's always interesting, every driver, you each have your own style, and it changes every time somebody different gets in the car.
Well, Kevin Harvick generally drives this number 33 car. Now you've got Ryan involved in it. And it's like he said, he wanted to move it to the left. Well, the brake pedal's to the left, like Tim did a great job explaining that to us. He moved it to the left and hit it. Now they're going to have to go back to the right a little bit, or after practice, actually clearance that column just a little bit. But it's all about getting the driver comfortable in the car. And obviously, Ryan wasn't comfortable with what he had.
Well, this will be his 9th start this season. He has 1 pole so far this year, and hasn't been to victory lane, although he does have 1 top 5. And once they get it squared away, I'm sure that he'll be looking for the pole
tomorrow. Take a look at this, Marty. He's down there adjusting the mirror. He's adjusted the steering column. He's moving things all around. And this is something that you generally do before this car even gets to the racetrack. So something's obviously bothered him a little bit. He just needed to get some better driver comforts. And that mirror is very important.
So while they continue and we continue under a red flag situation to clean up the mess out on the track from the 81, we'll take a quick break and be right back.
Tonight,
Blackout's changed everything.
At 8/7 Central, nothing has come close to the excitement of ABC's Flash Forward. The entire world has seen a vision of the future.
What if I didn't see anything because I'm going to be dead?
Right here, right now, that's real.
And it's changing everything.
It was our wedding.
You saw me there.
Did you see me?
Be there for every second as it happens.
I know what caused the flash forward.
An all-new ABC's Flash Forward. The Thursday night event tonight at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Monopoly is back at McDonald's, and this year, my family and I want to win big, baby. Play online every day for a chance to win $1 million, plus a lot of cash and food prizes. Start playing now. Collect or win instantly, play online, or text. Go to McDonald's. Where else? I want to win $1 million. Do you?
The Craftsman Auto Hammer. The hammer that goes where other hammers can't. Driving home nails with the touch of a button. Innovation, better value. Craftsman. Trust in your hands.
If you've had a heart attack caused by a completely blocked artery, another heart attack could be lurking, waiting to strike. A heart attack caused by a clot, one that could be fatal. But Plavix helps save lives. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, goes beyond what other heart medicines do alone to provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke and even death by helping to keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots. Ask your doctor about Plavix, protection that helps save lives.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. Taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor before planning surgery or taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. Some medicines that are used to treat heartburn or stomach ulcers, like Prilosec, may affect how Plavix works, so tell your doctor if you are taking other medicines. If fever, unexplained weakness, or confusion develops, tell your doctor promptly. These may be signs of TTP, a rare but potentially life-threatening condition reported sometimes less than 2 weeks after starting Plavix. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
If you take Plavix with other heart medicines, continuing to do so will help increase protection against a future heart attack or stroke. Feeling better doesn't mean you're not at risk. Stay with Plavix.
Well, back here in the garage area at Lowe's Motor Speedway, it has been a very long, soggy day, but we are back on the track in final practice. Mike Bliss, if you remember the spring race, well, he didn't mind the fact that it rained on that day at all.
Pace car pulls away, and they head to the green flag. Look at the rocket from the back of the pack, Kyle Busch. Wow. Everybody wake up. Let's go racing.
Telling you, boys, we got a race for the lead. Bliss got it.
Caution's out. Precipitation on the racetrack. If that ain't bad luck, I don't know what is.
This race has now been called complete. It is official.
I just want to thank all the fans for sticking around. This is a long, long day, and these are true NASCAR fans.
Well, the car's got a different number on the side, but it's the same driver inside. Mike Bliss, of course, went to victory lane when we were here in May. You currently run the most laps in this practice session. Can you tell us what the track conditions are like out there right now? A lot of rain today, a lot of smog, wet conditions.
Well, right now it's got a lot of grip. It's pretty cool, but the moisture's in the air a little bit, making the track somewhat slick, but it's hard to say. There's a lot of grip, but it's a little bit slick. But it's real fast right now. We're going pretty dang good.
Yeah, you guys have got a fast car. You're working with Paul Wolf here on this team. Now, you worked with Paul at the beginning of last season. How important is that relationship between you two to translating to success on the racetrack?
Well, I mean, it starts here. I respect what he does. He respects what I do. He works very hard at what he does, and he knows I do too, so we have a lot of respect. He's not afraid to do changes, and he builds nice race cars, just like this Toyota here. This Ridemaker's Toyota is fast, and I just enjoy driving cars like this.
Well, he's enjoying driving it today. Top 5 on the speed charts, Marty.
And he's also the leader in the clubhouse along with Jason Leffler in laps run. A total of 18 so far by that duo. And Kyle Busch and Michael Annett right behind at 17. And then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with 16.
I'll tell you what, talking about Bliss, if you just tuned in, I mean, he drove the #1 car for James Finch. That situation ended. He got in this 11 car, and Paul Wolf was his crew chief for a long time, like Jamie or like Shannon said when he drove with Armando Fitz. But right off the bat, when they were reunited, they went to Dover, Delaware, and he finished second in that car. So all the competitors in the garage says, this dynamic duo's back right now. They had a lot of success together back in the older days.
Well, he's had a good start over on the Cup side, too. In the first practice, he was 7th on the speed charts at over 190 miles an hour. Hey, our first look really at Brad Keselowski and the paint scheme, a little different for this weekend. Currently 3rd, and we pointed out the fact that he has not yet won here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. In fact, he just got bumped down to 4th position as Tony Stewart moved ahead of him. He's 29.82 seconds, 181 and change.
Right now, most of these guys are just all running race runs, just trying to get their cars handling as best you possibly can in these conditions. And one thing that's really good, this is exactly the same conditions they're going to have tomorrow night in the race. This practice session is going to end about 9 o'clock Eastern time, so they don't have a whole lot of time left right now, about a little over 15 minutes. And pretty soon, these guys are going to start putting these cars in qualifying mode to get them ready for tomorrow afternoon's qualifying. That's very, very important where you start in this race. Track positions, everything in the world nowadays.
If you're wondering about track records right now, it is still about a second off the mark. It was set by Jimmy Johnson back in 05 when everything was a little bit different. 28.7 seconds. We're at 29.7. Right now, #1 on the speed charts is that man right there, Kyle Busch. He has just taken over with his 20th lap at 29.70 seconds. Jamie, we talked about his health at the beginning of the broadcast, and he's now gone through a complete practice in Sprint Cup. What's he telling you?
Well, I poked my head in the door there when he was in the garage just a few moments ago, and I said, well, how you feeling? He said, I'm feeling all right. You know, everything seems normal. I'm just coughing a lot underneath this helmet. And I could see he was breaking a sweat, even though it's about 50 degrees out right now. And hey, what's helping him right now is he has a great car, really decent. They're just working on some things to see if it makes it faster. They made a spring change there, but they're not going to make any qualifying runs. Just focus on the race.
Jamie, is he planning on going the distance? I mean, has he said that for sure?
Absolutely. That is the plan. They want to redeem themselves. They lost 90 points last week, so the plan is to stay in the car 100% this weekend on both sides.
All right. Thanks for the update. And Kyle continues to turn laps. The most is now Jason Leffler with 24. Kyle's right behind at 21. And he's got himself a consistent race car. His best was 29.7. The last lap, 29.77.
Well, one thing I like about this car is right on the white line, right on the bottom of the racetrack to turn 1 and 2. And that's a good indication that this car is turning really good. The front end stuck good on it. And here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, you got to have that. You got to have that car in the bottom, especially through that corner, if you can do it. Now, in the race, they'll move high, they'll search around. But, man, in practice, you don't want to go to the top and stay there at this track, that's for sure.
Well, he has been the best on the mile-and-a-half tracks amongst the top 3 in points over the last 10 races with 4 wins and 8 top 5s. So that is why you heard Jamie talking about redeeming themselves after last week where they lost the 90 points. They're looking to cash in. We told you Jason Leffler was putting a lot of laps down. He's now recorded 26 laps. He's moved into the top 10. There you see it, 180 and a half.
Another one of the Braun Toyotas. They got 3 of them here this weekend, Todd Braun does. And Leffler, this is another pretty good racetrack for him. You can see there now he's running about a lane up off the bottom of the track, and that's not where Kyle Busch was running, our fastest guy out there right now. So obviously they need to work on this car a little bit. Usually when you run up a little bit, the car's kind of free, the back's trying to spin out on you. Drivers tend to get a little higher when that happens. Now this lap he's back down to the bottom again, so might have been searching around a little bit, but very seldom do the drivers run the same line in turn 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here.
Check in now with the 87 of Dave Blaney. As you can see, he has moved into the 9th position as behind the wheel at 180.6.
It looks like he's pulling off the racetrack right now. He's had enough, or in this baby back in and work on a little bit and find out what's wrong with it. But right now, Blaney is in a 9th position, like you said, Marty, and loves this speedway. Blaney loves coming to Charlotte.
Well, and Joe Nemechek, obviously, owner of this operation. We normally see Joe in this car quite a bit. Opportunity for Dave with some sponsorship on there. Maybe they'll be able to go the distance on tomorrow night. There's Mike Bliss back out on the track, 6th quickest now at 29.83, and there you see his numbers.
I tell you what, I just think that's such a cool paint scheme. You see on the side of the car behind the number, he's got a set of tailpipes painted on that thing. Looks like a drag car, Marty. I mean, you know about that stuff.
Yeah, a couple of header pipes on either side.
Absolutely.
All we need is the flames at night, and it would be like Top Fuel and Funny Car going down the racetrack.
Looks like he's got a little bit of silver flame on the side of it, but I tell you, this car has been strong all year long, but of late, it's just been a rocket. And we talked earlier about this thing in Dover, where he finished 2nd in it.
How about Michael Annett? There you see him as we get our first chance to peek in on the 15. And there you see that they're still struggling a little bit. They're looking for some more speed. 27th on the charts.
Annett had a good run in California last weekend. He was up in the top 15, top 10 a lot during that race and looked really good. Looks like this team's really maturing.
He finished 6th, and then 2 races earlier at Kansas, or at Dover, I should say, he finished 13th. And then back at Atlanta, he finished 14th. And back at Bristol, he finished 8th. Now, in between, yeah, he's had a few rough races. Sometimes it's his fault, sometimes not. But you can see that he's moved from 12th to 11th in the points, trying to crack the top 10.
Well, a lot of consistency, what I'm seeing out of this team. The longer they run, it's like the better they get. I mean, he was pretty new at this game at the beginning of this year. Young driver out of Iowa. Won a lot of races in different types of division cars, but really his first full-time year in a nationwide series. He's been doing a great job in it.
You know, it makes me think of something. Michael is a hockey player, and news this week that Curb Racing has got an alliance now with the Nashville Predators of the National Hockey League. They're going to cross-promote and do some things. Well, Michael Annett is a bit of a hockey player in his own right.
Hi, I'm Michael Annett. Most people probably wouldn't know that I used to be a professional hockey player growing up, or living my life on a pair of ice skates just because my mom was going to let me race. We went to the national championship and played against Sidney Crosby. I was never very good at scoring goals, so I just started taking people out. I'd usually be the slasher, the tripper, but you know, I usually start the fights and then have a bigger guy come in and bail me out. You know, I was at a racetrack when I was about 3 days old. We scheduled a C-section so we could be at the racetrack Saturday night. I think that's where I got, you know, my love for the sport.
The all-new pocket-sized, download-only PSP Go.
PlayStation.
Play on FullTiltPoker.net to win a trip to Las Vegas and a chance to appear on the new TV show, Face the Ace. It's your chance to play on national TV. Heads up against the best poker players in the world for a shot at $1 million. Free qualifying tournaments for Face the Ace are running now, only at FullTiltPoker.net.
Historic rivalry takes on national championship implications as Heisman winner Sam Bradford leads the Sooners against the Longhorns. Saturday, 20th ranked Oklahoma battles number 3 Texas, noon Eastern on ABC. College football lives here.
It's time to feel NASCAR's homecoming under the lights. Feel the pressure mount on the Cup heavyweights as the reigning champ takes the chase lead. The NASCAR Banking 500, Saturday at 7 Eastern on ABC.
Ahí viene the most anticipated show del año. Los Premios MTV 2009 brings you the biggest names, the hottest performances, and una noche de sorpresas you don't want to miss. The party is on. Los Premios MTV 2009 premieres en vivo from LA October 15th at 10 p.m. only on MTV3.
And now a mini reminder to try a McDonald's mini meal. Your choice of 3 great meals for under $3 a piece with a small soft drink and fries. Prices, participation may vary. Limited time only.
What is this thing we're going to?
It's a charity event for dogs with Down syndrome.
Oh, I thought you were kidding.
It's an epidemic.
It's Matt Freeman, the Oracle. He's a fantasy football genius. He just licked the hot dog. Your client's going away for 10 years. Unless you give me the #1 pick, I'm gonna knock it down from 10 to 7. What was that? You're going away for 5 years, and I just lost Adrian Peterson.
The League, Thursday, October 29th at 10:30 on FX.
NASCAR Nationwide Series Final Practice, brought to you by Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic, our ultimate clean, your ultimate feeling, and Avidart. Well, back here at Lowe's Motor Speedway as the final practice, the only practice for the NASCAR Nationwide Series continues. Tony Stewart currently 4th on the speed charts. There you see his numbers.
Hasn't took him much time to get up to speed. 4th quick, like you said, right now. And car looks really good right on the bottom of the racetrack, right where you want it. Tony likes this style of body. The older style bodies with the rear spoilers on them instead of the wings. Seems like every time he gets in these cars, always runs good. And I'll never forget that dominant performance he did at Daytona where he won that race this year.
Wait a minute. Almost any car he ever climbs into, no matter what, he does pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'd say so. Seems like he likes these awful good, too. But, boy, you're exactly right about that. I mean, this guy, he can get an Indy car, a dirt car, a stock car, a nationwide car, everything, and lays the numbers on the board all the time.
Well, a few moments ago in the garage area, a little note swapping going on perhaps, as there you could see Kyle and Joey getting together to talk things out.
See Kyle going over here to Joey saying, give me everything you got because you've been beating me lately. I want to know all your secrets.
Well, it's true. I mean, every time he looks up in his mirror late in the race and he sees that 20 car, it's turned into a nightmare for him.
Seems like Kyle's leading these races all the time, right to the very end, and for whatever reason, Joey gets around him. Looks like Kyle's sitting there trying to explain what the car's doing to Jason Radcliffe. That's the fellow with the back to us about what his car's handling. See Joe Gibbs walking in right now, the coach.
Well, and it's obvious he feels a lot better than he did last week because whenever he got out of the car last week, it was like, quick, sit me down and give me some fluids.
You know, they were telling us last week, and he really second-guessed himself about getting out of that car last weekend. He was leading the race, running up front, had a great run, then pulled in, got out of it. And after the crash happened with Denny behind the wheel, and that just happens to drivers, he thought, maybe I did the team a justice. Maybe I should have tried harder and stayed in the car. It wouldn't have lost these points. But, you know, you can always look behind you and armchair quarterback it, I guess.
Absolutely. Just move on. That's all you can do. Back out on the track, we were expecting Stephen Light in this car at the beginning of the week. He was shown on the initial entry list, and it ended up being Jeff Burton doing a little bit of double duty action. And Burton 15th on the charts at 29.96 seconds, 180 and change.
Marty, many times Jeff Burton's drove this 29 Holiday Inn car and won races in this car, and at the least run in the top 5 many times. And it might just be that Richard Childress just wants to get him in this car, keep the good finishes with this team coming. Take a look at Clint Boyer in the 29 Dover just a couple weeks ago. He dominated and won that race in this car. And these guys told me they really felt as though they're starting to catch this 18 and 20 car that had been so dominant this year.
Justin Allgaier right behind him at 14th, and it looks like he's going to go on around. Jeff lets him go and says, this is just practice, son.
I just feel like his dad tried to help it turn, but it de-wedged it. And right through the middle, I just feel like I lose both front tires.
He's definitely concerned about the front of the car. He talked about de-wedging it. There's many things you can do to the caster, the front end settings, that causes a de-wedge situation. Too much positive caster in the left front wheel will cause the left front corner of the car to kind of hike up in the center, make the car loose, and actually pull both front tires out of the ground like he was saying. Now, I don't know if that's changed, but that's what I've went through and experienced here.
And there is Sterling and David Gilliland sharing some notes.
See David right there, just uncomfortable to get in this car, even though he's going to drive it tomorrow. Sterling's filling in for him because we talked earlier in the show that he's scheduled to drive the #1 car tomorrow, but he's going to qualify this Cup car in just a little bit, and he doesn't want to have the extreme differences because he's got to get this thing in by qualifying. It's not guaranteed in the race. The number 02 car that he's driving for Gibbs and a little bit later on.
And I'm sure there are some fans at home and maybe even some new viewers who might be tuning in going, wait a minute, how can it be that much different?
Boy, it really is. I mean, the new Cup car is heavier. It's more top heavy. It's got a rear wing on the back of it versus a rear spoiler. It's got a complete different front end. And the Cup car, Marty, has a lot more horsepower, #1. These guys in these Nationwide cars are almost running wide open around this track. Not quite, but very close. The Cup cars, you can't even think about doing that.
Back out on the track, a different paint scheme for the 99, and David Rudeman behind the wheel this weekend.
One of the local sponsors around here, Lowe's Food. Michael Waltrip Racing's got a program with him. We never see this paint scheme on this car. But this association started back during the 600 weekend here in Charlotte, the early race. And we haven't seen David in the car in quite a while either, but every time he's in this 99, it's like he's knocking these top 10 finishes out and flirting with the victory many times.
Well, Lowe's Home Improvement, of course, going away at the end of this year as the name and title sponsor of the track. If Bruton Smith could talk Lowe's Foods into taking over, he wouldn't have to change a single song.
Well, Bruton's a pretty good salesman. I'm sure he's already been here talking to these guys about this, but that good company, Lowe's. They're, like I say, they're around the area, and they've took care of a lot of NASCAR folk around here, that's for sure.
Well, David right now is 18th on the speed charts. And, of course, David, we talk about the rain being a factor today and also in the May race. Well, it didn't hurt in the Sprint Cup Series either, as David picked up the win here at the 600, and the skies just opened up. Stay with us.
When your engine's running clean, you feel it. And Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil cleans out up to 46% of sludge in your first oil change and continues to clean in your next change. Feel our ultimate clean, not just oil, Pennzoil.
I was always going. Having to go in the middle of traffic and just starting and stopping. Having to go in the middle of a ball game and then not being able to go once I got there. And going at night. I thought I had a going problem. My doctor said I had a growing problem.
It wasn't my bladder. My prostate was growing. I had an enlarging prostate that was causing my urinary symptoms.
My doctor prescribed Avodart.
Over time, Avodart actually shrinks the prostate and improves urinary symptoms.
So I can go more easily when I need to go, and go less often.
Avodart is for men only. Women should not take or handle Avodart due to risk of a specific birth defect. Do not donate blood until 6 months after stopping Avodart. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease. Rarely sexual side effects, swelling, or tenderness of the breasts can occur. Only your healthcare provider can tell if symptoms are from an enlarged prostate and not a more serious condition like prostate cancer. So have regular exams. Call your doctor today. Avodart, help take care of your growing problem.
We don't have a $5 foot-long or a fancy jingle, but at CiCi's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
I think Philly's got a shot tonight with Rollins back in the lineup.
Come on!
You don't think so?
Come on!
Why do you keep saying come on?
Because I'm Sam the Sports King, and that's my catchphrase. Come on!
Stuck in a bad relationship with sports radio? Switch to ESPN Radio for the best sports on the dial.
So, Jimmy, Philly's going to win tonight?
Come on!
Come on!
Come on!
It's time to feel NASCAR's homecoming under the lights. Feel the pressure mount on the Cup heavyweights as the reigning champ takes the chase lead. The NASCAR Banking 500, Saturday at 7 Eastern on ABC.
What was that? Oh, there's a little attention to the track there.
Back here at Lowe's, let's talk about what's going to be coming up. Happy hour tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN2 for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. And then the race, the NASCAR Banking 500 on ABC, Saturday at 7 Eastern. Nationwide Series action for us tomorrow. We'll have qualifying at 3 Eastern and then the race at 7:30 Eastern, both on ESPN2. And, of course, you got NASCAR Now presented by Wrangler. That'll be tomorrow at 6 Eastern. Also on ESPN2. Checking back in on the 88 of Brad Keselowski. He's been bumped down to the number 5 spot, Jamie. What's he saying?
It's amazing. This is his 100th start already, but he's actually been saying a lot. That's something I've learned about Brad Keselowski. He gives great feedback, and it keeps getting better. This was moments ago.
He's still tight, centered off. Yeah, that run there, because I was freer in, I was a little better early center, but late center it came back to being tight. I reached the edge of my balance on entry, but didn't rake sizable gains in the center or on exit.
And they came in, they made a spring adjustment. They actually swapped out the spring and adjusted the air pressure, and he went back out and he said it really balanced the car and it actually made it a little too free. He couldn't really hustle it as he gets ready to make his way back in, guys.
And you mentioned the fact that this will be his 100th NASCAR Nationwide Series start, and there is his first 99. And notice the improvement, that average finish and the win count as you go 07, 08 to 09.
Well, it looks like he's really figuring it out, and getting it figured out so good is what got him in the Cup Series for next year. People are noticing that. They're noticing how good he's doing, and they're also noticing what Jamie just said, his feedback, how to tell his crew chief how to get these cars handling better. He's been really good at that all year long.
Back in the garage area, they'll try and translate all that into the proper changes. As we have just passed the bottom of the hour, we have about 30 minutes left in this practice session. Thanks for joining us, Marty Reed, along with Rusty Wallace, and we've got the girls in pit lane, Shannon Spake, Jamie Little, and following us will be NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying. So we still have a lot of action. Been delayed all day by rain, but finally getting some action out on the track, and it has been pretty much nonstop. We had one incident earlier when the 81 of Kevin Hamlin tagged the wall, and right now you're looking at the 16 of Matt Kenseth.
I tell you, this guy's no stranger to the Charlotte Motor Speedway or Lowe's Motor Speedway. He has been really fantastic at this track. In fact, this car that Greg Biffle was in last weekend, Greg Biffle drove that car. You might have, if you caught the race last week, and big crash between him and Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski. This car is awful fast here at this track. Jamie, what's Kyle saying down there, though?
Well, he got out of his car, he talked to Joey for a while, and now you're walking back to the hall. Are you finished already?
Yeah, we're good. It's just, it's so fast that it's just out of control out there, really. But it's fun. You know, the Z-Line Camry was better. The more we worked on it, I felt pretty good about it. I know what we need in a race car to win here, so, you know, felt like we got all those problem areas worked on and fixed, and so really no need to push it any further, and you know, we didn't want to take a chance if it started getting wet out there.
Well, you look a lot better. How are you feeling a week later, Kyle? I'm
not bad. I got diagnosed with pneumonia on Monday, so still fighting the lingering effects of that, but I fought a fever all week. I felt like it was going away, so I probably had 2 sicknesses last week, and now I've got this, so just a funk.
Just a little cough in the race car, but he says it's fast. They're calling it a night here, Marty?
Well, he still has qualifying for Sprint Cup coming up, but that's only a couple of laps. He's got a late draw in qualifying tomorrow. Carl goes out early, so we'll see if that plays into a factor either way. And you can see that Jason Ratcliffe and the crew checking some things out and getting ready.
Boy, what a good feel as a driver. I mean, this car is so good, I'm going to stop a half an hour early. That's a lot of confidence right there. It's pretty smart, though, because he doesn't need to push it, because like he said, he's got to qualify that Cup car here later on tonight.
Well, he has been bumped down to the number 2 spot by Mike Bliss. Joey Logano, who you're looking at right now, is 4th on that speed chart, has 29.77 seconds. There you see his best lap. Back in the garage area, Mike Bliss, there he is. He just turned this lap at 29.701, 81.78. And it was 5 years ago tonight that Mike Bliss got his very first NASCAR Nationwide Series victory here at Lowe's. He was driving a car number 20 that evening.
Marty, you know, this car right here is a single car team. You always hear about the multi-car teams that all these guys have. They're doing it all by themselves. They got incredible focus on this Toyota. I know they went through a couple different drivers, but I got a little bit of Joe Gibbs involvement in this car when it comes to hanging the bodies and different things they do with it. But I think the total concentration on this single car team with this particular team is really starting to pay dividends and show up quite good on the racetrack.
I think the thing that's been most impressive is every car that Mike Bliss has bopped around into, and he's been in close to half a dozen different cars this year. He's given them some of their best rides, no matter who it has been. Checking in with Brendan Gaughan. Saw Brendan before the start of practice. That is a brand new chassis. Kevin Harvick from nose to tail now, correct there, Mr. Walsh?
Yeah, a lot of involvement with Kevin's team. We've been working with him a lot. I really like what Kevin's doing over there, sharing some technology with us, trying to help our team also. But right now, I mean, Brendan is not running as good as you like. He's way down in 31st. Be interesting to see what he's saying about his car. But I will tell you, Brendan loves to run the very top of the racetrack all the time.
Keep trying to go harder for you, Dale. Keep getting tighter and tighter.
Losing the front end there, pushing the front end, and that's the one thing you don't want here. But what I started to say earlier was he loves to run the top of the racetrack, and the top of the racetrack is not burned in right now. He can't get up there like the normal Brendan Gaughan, the line he loves to run.
I always love the Pennsylvania Dutch saying, the harder I go, the behinder I get. And that's what's happening right there with whenever you've got that push. Well, we mentioned the 33. All the changes have been made. Ryan Newman back out. He's still 18th on the speed charts, however, and there you see his numbers.
It's just going to take a little time for Ryan to get used to this car. Kevin's been driving this car every single week himself, and I like it when he drives this car. He gives great feedback. He owns the car. He's helping engineering this stuff. And I really probably think that he's got one of the best Chevrolet teams out there in all the Nationwide Series. Hey, 88 car, Brad Keselowski, awful good, but Kevin is right there, and he's really proud of his own race team. But it makes me wonder why he puts different drivers in his car. Just doesn't stay in it all the time himself.
Well, we mentioned early in our coverage of final practice that there are a total of 5 chase drivers that are running, and of course Ryan is one of them. And there you see where they shake out right now as far as their Sprint Cup Series points. And Ryan, who won here back in 2005 in the fall race in the Nationwide Series, trying to move his way up the charts, but so far no improvement. He's still 18th.
Well, you said he's got about 25 minutes of practice left, and he'll be in and out constantly working on that car, trying to get it handling better. And Marty, a lot of times these guys will run their practice right down to nothing and actually run out of time to do qualifying runs. So it's yet to be seen if he can do both before this session's over.
One of the other double-duty Sprint Cup chase drivers, that is Tony Stewart. Tony is 5th right now on the charts. Shannon?
I told you at the beginning of this practice session that 5 car would be in race trim the entire time. Tony is working with Brian Campy for the very first time in the Nationwide Series, the first time he's driving that 5 car. Let's just take a listen into some of the radio communication between these two.
It hurt the entry, made it feel too free initially, and that's why I didn't run a big lap on the front of it. But the longer I run, the tighter I get in the center. I like your idea. We just got to do something, I think, to help it down the hill on entry. And once we get it down, then it needs to rotate better. All right, I think we're going to go back on that spring there, and then I'm going to do the truck arms. Do you need more help than that on entry? I don't think so.
Well, I caught up with Brian Campy and I asked him how things are going. He said right now, just trying to get a feel for Tony's communication. Tony says it's tight. What does that mean? What does Tony mean when he says it's tight? And so they're just trying some new things out on the racetrack. But a lot of confidence with this 5-car, guys. This is a fast car. This is the same car that Dale Jr. drove to the pole position at Atlanta earlier this season. So they've got a lot of confidence going into qualifying and the race because, of course, Tony Stewart's behind the wheel.
And Rusty, getting back to that for a moment, I've known some teams where they have this new combination. They would say, give it to me from 1 to 10, with 10 being absolute worst.
Well, they can use that type of chart. Many guys do that, Marty, like you said. Where's the car at when it comes to being too tight? Is it a 10 too tight, or is it a 5? Is it something we can deal with? But obviously, this is not a big problem, what Tony's talking about. But there's one good thing you do know about this car. They can't question the driver. The driver knows how to get it done here. But Tony did say the car was a little free on entry. They made a spring change, it sounded like. Now they're going to go back and work with the trailing arms. Just subtle changes to get the car the way Tony wants it. Hey, he's not too far off. He's 5th right now.
One of the things I've noticed is we've seen absolutely only one car do a 10-lap run, and that was Brian Vickers in the 32, and his 10-lap average was 179.3, which would put him well down the charts. But I'm a little surprised that some of these teams haven't stayed out to do at least a 10-lap run.
Well, you know, I tell you one thing about racers. Racers always want more. And if the car is just not perfect, they're going to pull it back in and ask for more, try to work on it, try to tune it up, and try to get it better yet. And that's what you're seeing right now. And the reason you're seeing that is because they don't have much practice. They've only got an hour and a half total practice. These guys were scheduled for about 2.5 hours of practice. Everything's condensed, so they're trying to get multiple runs in right now to try to get the car as close as they can.
Good point as we check in with Scott Wimmer out on the track. Wimmer, he's mired pretty low in the speed chart, 39th right now. He's turned a total of 16 laps. There you see his best numbers. And the last lap was 0.2 slower than that.
Now, this is another driver you don't ever question. Scott Wimmer did a heck of a great job when he drove for Richard Childress Racing. Drove those cars many races, had a lot of good runs, had some victories. And this particular car just doesn't have the funding that Richard's cars had. And Scott's been doing a pretty doggone good job with it all year long, but obviously they're off right now in their speed. They're going to have to go back after practice, debrief a little bit. But when I talked to this team earlier, they're just always looking for more horsepower. They feel like they need more power under the hood of this car.
There you mentioned his wins. He has 6 of them in his Nationwide Series career, and still searching for the speed as he is not getting any improvement. In fact, the last lap was even a tick slower at 30.8. Back in the garage area, well, Jack Roush overseeing the operation. Doesn't look real happy.
It's time to feel 12 drivers battling to the finish under the lights. Time to feel the pressure of chasing a champion and the fear of knowing that your chase is almost over. Feel the thrill of being on top for a 4th year in a row.
Great job, boys!
Feel that one mistake could cost everything. The NASCAR Banking 500, only from Bank of America at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Saturday at 7 Eastern on ABC.
Historic rivalry takes on national championship implications as Heisman winner Sam Bradford leads the Sooners against the Longhorns. Saturday, 20th ranked Oklahoma battles number 3 Texas, noon Eastern on ABC. College football lives here.
In today's economy, make the intelligent choice when it comes to buying a car. WhyBuyNewAutos.com is the intelligent alternative to new. At WhyBuyNewAutos.com, you can shop at home with our huge inventory of late model, low mileage cars and trucks, like this 08 Ford F-150 Super Crew, 4,000 miles, automatic, loaded with chrome wheels. MSRP was $35,155, just $23,580. Let someone else take the hit. Buy low mileage, high quality, get value for your money. WhyBuyNewAutos.com, the intelligent alternative to new.
Previously on CSI Miami.
It was freaky.
I mean, the guy goes out a glass window. I mean, just like this one right here. CSI shows up, they're suspicious because jumpers don't jump through glass. CSI guys are going nuts, just dumping rounds into buildings. It's like, yeah, toon, 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 toon. Then,
Okay, I'm gonna have to go to bed now.
everywhere. That guy gets hit.
See it for yourself. Watch CSI Miami for free along with hundreds of other shows whenever, wherever. Fancast or TV online.
You can tell we're at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. There's Lugnut, the track mascot. And he's probably nice and warm inside that suit where normally he's steaming hot when it's warm outside.
Well, how do you think he could see? Think he could see out those eyes pretty good? I tell you, the kids love this guy. They're always cheering him on all the time, and he's good to the children here.
Have absolutely no clue how he sees out of that helmet. Back out onto the track where final practice is winding down, and checking in on Jason Keller as the 27 has had some very strong finishes over the last 4 races, has not finished lower than 15th, and is sneaking up on that 6th place. He's only 50 points behind Stephen Wallace, and we've already mentioned the battle for the final position, 5th. He's 102 points behind Justin Allgaier.
Well, there's one thing about Jason Keller. He's a seasoned veteran. He knows how to get around all these tracks. He's a patient driver, and he's running down Stephen Wallace and Justin Allgaier. There is no doubt about that. Like you said, Marty, only 50 points. And let me tell you, I'll guarantee you that Jason Keller knows those points. He knows what he got to do. And right now, that car's looking pretty good out there.
Well, back at O'Reilly Raceway Park, if you remember, he was 10th in the points then, so that gives you an idea how he has just kept consistently pecking away at it. And, of course, this is the curb racing operation, which we told you a little bit earlier, is got an affiliation next year with the Nashville Predators of the NHL, and I'm wondering if maybe if they have problems back in the garage area, they just bring a couple of those 6'6" defensemen with some hockey sticks to help clean up the mess.
And do a little whooping butt, right? That could happen.
All right, how about the 29 as we check in with Jamie? What's going on with Jeff Burton?
Well, Marty, remember earlier we were talking about adjustments that these guys have to make who aren't in the cars every week? Well, Jeff Burton is one of those. He got in the car at first and he went out on the track and he said, this throttle is too close to me, and it was messing up his entry and his exit. They said that was good for 3/10, so it took about 20 minutes to make the total change. He went back out and now he's just saying he's tight, but they just got behind the 8 ball and they just keep working on it to get it better.
Well, he's had top 10 finishes in his last 5 low starts, all of them in the number 29. Over on the Cup side, he's not real thrilled with that ride right now. He's 37th after the first practice. He's got some work to do there. But as we mentioned, doing very well here at Lowe's, and he's done well on the 1.5-mile tracks. Take a look, as we can see, all time, he's number 2 in wins behind, guess who?
Mark Martin. That's pretty strong. Look at all those wins Mark Martin had.
And Kyle Busch trying to close in. He could tie him if Kyle wins tomorrow night. Stay with us.
Tuesday nights, the countdown to the final table is on as the decisive run to the November 9 heats up. The main event field is down to 64. Wow. Loaded with top pros as Phil Ivey and Antonio Esfandiari continue their drive to the final table. Who will move one step closer to $8.5 million? The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky, Tuesday at 9 on ESPN.
It's time to feel 12 drivers battling to the finish under the lights. Time to feel the pressure of chasing a champion and the fear of knowing that your chase is almost over. Feel the thrill of being on top for a 4th year in a row.
Great job, boys!
Feel that one mistake could cost everything. The NASCAR Banking 500, only from Bank of America at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Saturday at 7 Eastern on ABC.
Tuesday nights, the countdown to the final table is on. The main event field is down to 64 and loaded with top pros. Who will move one step closer to $8.5 million? The World Series of Poker, Tuesday at 9 on ESPN.
Look, since you've arrived, the energy's way up. There's a zip to these shows that wasn't there before, and you deserve a lot of the credit for it. I could sit here all day, blow sunshine up your butt, but the fact is, the economy's bad. We got to cut back. We got to let you go. I'm sorry. That's not going to work. Sorry.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Well, let's talk about Saturday night. It's chase race number 5 in the 10 that will decide the 09 NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. Second of 4 chase races on the mile-and-a-half tracks. Tony Stewart won the first last week. NASCAR Banking 500 only from Bank of America, 7 Eastern, Saturday, ABC. And you can see Sprint Cup cars on pit road getting ready for qualifying, which you will see immediately following our coverage of our first and only practice for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. We'll have qualifying tomorrow at 3 Eastern and our race at 7:30. We have got a full day tomorrow. Got NASCAR Now at 6, happy hour at 6:30, and then leads right into our countdown. Brad Keselowski looks like going to get back in and see if they've made the right adjustment.
Yeah, you see him plugging his radios back in. It's about 10 minutes left in practice, 10 or 11 minutes practice right now. And this is when most of their teams are going to start getting these cars in what I call a qualifying mode, airing the tires up, cooling the engines down, taping off the front end, and seeing how fast these things are really going to go. Because the next thing that's going to happen is going to be tomorrow when they qualify. In track position is everything in the world, and they definitely want to get these things qualified good.
Well, he's been bumped down to 7th. You were wondering when guys were going to tape up and go for runs. We can tell you Justin Allgaier just did and jumped up to the number 4 spot at a 29.71 second rip, and he is just pulled back into pit road.
That's a tougher spot. When you go out to do a qualifying run and they shoot up to number 4, then all of a sudden there's about 40 other guys that shoot out there, and they go to qualify and get you down.
All right, let's check in on Brian Vickers. He's currently 10th. You see his numbers again, part of the Braun stable. And let's clean up something on the 87. That is actually, yes, Joe Nemechek's number and listed under his ownership, but that really is a Braun racing machine, parts and equipment, and so actually 5 cars here for Braun.
Yeah, that's what's unbelievable, Marty. Just like you said, 5 cars that Todd Braun has got here. The 10 car, the 32, the 38, the 43 that Casey Kane's driving, and the 87 car that Blaney's in. So a big effort out of Todd Braun here.
Vickers still 10th. That last lap at 30.18 seconds. And as he comes across, does it help? Yes, it does. Moves him up to 8th. 29.83, 180.99 miles an hour. Jamie, you've got more on Todd Braun's efforts?
Well, Marty, yeah, just to add to that, I actually talked to the team last week, and they said that this could be the future. And what I mean by that is 4 teams. They're looking at what they can do with their resources. Of course, they're going out looking for sponsors, but they want to grow this organization. And it was announced a few weeks ago they will be running 5 Sprint Cup races next year, including Daytona. So they're really growing. They just moved into a new facility. It's about 88,000 square feet. So Braun Racing thinking big.
I'll tell you, the facility they moved into is the old Richard Petty Motorsports facility. That's a facility that Robert Yates owns. He leased this to Todd Braun, and Todd wants to grow his team, like you said, and that is a very, very big facility. So they're going to have to find the dollars to get on the side of these cars, because finding sponsors right now is a tough deal.
So, looked like Mike Bliss go blowing by. Bliss still at the top of the charts, and he turned his best lap now on lap 36, so he's been getting quicker, Shannon.
And a lot of people down here in the garage wondering, was that Mike Bliss's qualifying run? Well, I asked the team, and they said no, they're still working on race trim. The car is just that good. Either the car or the driver or the combination of both. Mike is saying it's just a little bit tight, so they've been working on the rear end of that car, playing around with some shocks and some springs. but he is blazing fast on the racetrack right now, guys.
Tell you what, that car is fast, like you said, Shannon. I mean, he ran a 29.67 lap, but don't look now. Kyle Busch, who quit early, he's on his tail at a 29.70, and that's not a qualifying lap either for Kyle Busch, so these guys are both pretty strong.
Well, and what I try and look at also is how did he do on the next lap and the next lap, and he has fallen off a few tenths on that, just the last lap.
See if I can stand it.
I didn't quite catch it. Did you hear what he said?
Well, no, I didn't quite catch it either. It says he wants to try something, see if he can stand it. So it might be another chassis change before they run out of time, because they are just about out of time right now. About 7 minutes I've got left in this session, left to go. And these guys, if they're going to do some qualifying runs, they better hurry up and get after it. They're going to be out of time.
Time is winding down. We've got about...
Tires on, fuel, and see if I can stand it. I mean, it might be too much.
All right, there you go. He's talking about putting tires on, filling up with fuel, doing a qualifying attempt. So he's barely going to make it back out on the racetrack before he runs out of time.
And what's coming up when these guys do run out of time? It'll be NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying, and number 1 out will be the 47 of Marcus Ambrose. And you can see everybody getting in line. And there is Marcus doing a little limbering up and getting his thoughts put together. Did you have a set process going into qualifying? Did you like to be left alone?
No, I just got nervous all the time. I'd go out there and hope that their car would run like it did in practice. And a lot of times these cars are always much, much looser than they were after you made your practice qualifying run. It's happened to many drivers, but the track's awful cool and awful consistent out there tonight. And so I think they're not going to have a big problem with loose race cars.
Let's check back in once again with Ryan Newman. He's 17th, still on the speed charts. Just moved up to 16th on that last lap, 29.92. But that is still 0.3 of a second off Mike Bliss. How about Tony Stewart? 6th right now, and there you see his numbers.
5 minutes left in this practice right now, we're hearing. And Stewart obviously is just using all the practice time up right now to get this car's handling. Looks like he's not even going to try to worry about doing a qualifying run. And happy with this car so far.
Brad Keselowski, you saw where he is 8th right now. His last lap was at 30.24 seconds. His best was at 29.8.
Looks like Brad also, just when we saw him get back in the car a little while ago, I thought that maybe he's going to try to do a qualifying run, but the front of this car is still untaped. It's a section, see the big gap above the Impala there, so he's not taped down fully. And if it was a qualifying run, he still left a lot to go for tomorrow, so he can get that car going quick if he tapes it down farther yet. Looks like he's just trying to still get the car handling better and better, taking this practice session right to the last minute.
Well, the temperature's in the high 40s, and it's supposed to be a little warmer tomorrow. Certainly supposed to be drier tomorrow. How's that going to change the track?
Well, I think the track is just really fast right now. It's real cool. It's cold. And I really think the conditions are going to be very similar tomorrorow, Marty. I do. In fact, that's one of the reasons I think this is such a key session tonight to get your car handling right at. Almost identical conditions tomorrow night and tonight.
Joey Logano, as he is still currently 6th on the speed charts. You saw his numbers right there. Looking for his 3rd straight win. Could be the 8th guy to ever do it in Nationwide Series history. And Coach looking on.
You see Joe Gibbs right there looking at the monitor. He was talking earlier in the broadcast where he told me, he said, I am so comfortable with my Nationwide Series effort. He said, I feel like we really got a good handle on this 18 car and 20 car. He said, we just got to get that same effort going on now in the Cup Series. And they've been struggling just a little bit, but boy, these cars here have been rock steady week after week.
Well, as the minutes wind down, remember we have 43 spots available. We have 49 cars, so 6 are going to be going home. And as we get ready to wind things down for our last portion tonight, let's go back down into the garage area. Shannon, you've caught up with Justin Allgaier, who's 4th.
That's right, and one of the biggest battles in the points we have right now is the battle for 5th place. Justin Allgaier in that battle. Great looking car tonight. Your speeds are really fast. How's it handling?
The car's really good. The Verizon Wireless guys have done a great job, and you know, we're just we're trying to build on what we learned in the spring here. We weren't as good as we'd like to have been, so we came back with a totally different setup. I feel like we've really hit on something, and you know, this is a big weekend. We're coming back home to Charlotte. We got motor oil on the car this weekend as well as Verizon Wireless, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully we can take what we learned and use it to our advantage.
All right, good luck to Ritchie this weekend. Justin Allgaier currently top 5 in the speed charts.
He has 3 top 5s in his rookie campaign. He leads the rookie points series by 17 over Brendan Gaughan, but still looking for that elusive first win. And Kevin Harvick checking in on Ryan Newman's car because he can't be real thrilled. His team is 16th.
Hey, you see Kevin right here talking to Ernie Cope, the crew chief, and Kevin and Ernie got a great relationship. These guys have won several races together. They always seem to get this 33 going, but for something, they're struggling right now with the 33 car with Ryan Newman driving it. And we know they both are great drivers, but evidently they just don't like the same things. So they're trying to help out there.
Checking out on the track, we can tell you Eric Darnell has just made a major leap as they make a simulated run here. He has moved into the number 3 position. And we talked earlier how this is important for Eric to impress some people because Jack Roush has said we don't have the funding right now for that team for next year.
Yeah, not locked in for money. That's a sick feeling, you know, at the end of the year when you're out of money and you don't know if you're going to have a ride next year. But we know Eric can qualify good, that's for sure. Like I talked earlier about, he was on the pole at Milwaukee this year, and he's always been a good qualifier.
Well, as Matt Kenseth comes in, put a period on Eric. He had 2 top 10 finishes in 3 truck starts here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. So maybe you can translate that success over to the Nationwide Series. You saw Kenseth as he was rolling on, and now we go back out for the 66 of Stephen Wallace. Haven't checked in on him lately. He's now 21st, so both he and Brendan Gaughan looking for some more speed.
Yeah, he looks like he's on a track right now. Don't know if he's on a qualifying run or not. The car looks to me like it just got to get a little bit lower on the racetrack run, a little bit too high right now compared to some of the other faster cars.
Stephen, 11th in the points when this series left here after the May race, and has now clawed his way up to 6th. And we've talked about that battle, as that will probably continue on all the way down to the final race at Homestead in November. And it looks like the session has come to a close. So Mike Bliss, who has been very strong all evening long in this hour and 30-minute session, is the fastest at 29.67 seconds at 181.96 miles an hour. And there he is in the number 11 Ride Makers Toyota Camry.
Marty, I'll tell you what, that is an impressive run out of this team. Take a look at the left rear tire. It's got a flat tire coming in off the racetrack right now. Didn't lose the car crashing. You talk about getting lucky. He's number 1 on the board. He's got a flat left rear on the last lap, so good save by him.
Casey Kane 2nd, Eric Darnell 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th, Matt Kenseth 5th, Justin Allgaier 6th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at the near the end there popped in with the 7th best run, and here they are with Joey Logano, Tony Stewart, and Brad Keselowski rounding out the top 10. And remember, these cars will be qualifying tomorrow. Can't say it's going to be the heat of the day because the temperature's not supposed to go above 55, so not all that much different, although there might be some sun on the track. But we'll have it at 3 Eastern on ESPN2. A final thought, Rusty?
I think a final thought for me is that car right there. I mean, a single-car team against these multi-car teams. Mike Bliss, a driver that got ousted out of the number 1 car, driving for a ride next year. And every time he gets in this car, he's running great. 2nd at Dover's number 1 today. Got to be pulling for Bliss a little bit, guys.
Well, do not go anywhere. Do not surf the channels, because coming up next, it'll be the good doctor back with his medical crew, DJ and Andy Petrie, as it is time for Sprint Cup qualifying here at Lowe's Motor Speedway for our team till we meet again.
When your engine's running clean, you feel it. And Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil cleans out up to 46% of sludge in your first oil change and continues to clean in your next change. Feel our ultimate clean. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
It's Macy's Men's Wardrobe Sale, where savings and style come together. Update your wardrobe with the best brands at prices that can't be beat. Get moving on your new look for fall. Go to Macy's.com for your savings pass to save even more.
Come together.
Macy's Men's Wardrobe Sale. That's the magic of Macy's.
Oceans of shrimp are now at Golden Corral. For around $10, enjoy 10 endless premium dishes like our new shrimp scampi, lemon herb shrimp over tilapia, and tortellini with shrimp and lobster sauce.
Where else can you get all this for around $10?
nowhere. Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
Precision handling, high-performance braking, smooth and comfortable ride. Tame the road, hand-cooked tires.
Inventors, InventHelp can help you try to patent your idea and submit it to companies. Call 1-800-236-7211 for free information. That's 1-800-236-7211.
It's time to feel 12 drivers battling to the finish, under the lights. Time to feel the pressure of chasing a champion and the fear of knowing that your chase is almost over. Feel the thrill of being on top for a 4th year in a row.
Great job, boys!
Feel that one mistake could cost everything. The NASCAR Banking 500, only from Bank of America at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Saturday at 7 Eastern on ABC.
Welcome to Lowe's Motor Speedway, where we are just about set to qualify for the first and only chase race of the season, Under the Lights. Entering last week's race, number 4 of the chase in California, the front runners were Martin Johnson and Montoya. And it was the kid from California, nicknamed Superman by his peers, that soared by them all. Johnson's dominating win allowed him to assume the points lead for the first time this year. And now the championship 12 have headed to Charlotte. Bit of a shuffle in the points following California last week. Jimmie Johnson, as I said, for the first time this year is the points leader, 12 points over Mark Martin. Big gainers there. You see Montoya stayed in 3rd spot. Jeff Gordon up a couple. Carl Edwards up 3 spots, the big loser. Denny Hamlin, the accident at the end of pit row, cost him 3 positions. Let's go down to the grid and Dave Burns.
So, Doc, can anything get better for Jimmie Johnson? Well, I think so, because while the cars are lined up here for qualifying tonight, 1 all the way back to 48, you might think it'd be lucky if the 48 car could go out 48th, but that's not the case for a variety of reasons. He actually goes out 12th tonight, and that could be very good. A couple of engine tuners have told me that the further you go in qualifying tonight, the worse it may be for your car. Ambient temperature, moisture in the air, it would be good to go, maybe near the top 10. 12th is pretty close to the top 10. Jimmie Johnson may have the shot at the pole tonight. Jamie Little?
Well, Dave, as things look up for Jimmie Johnson, he hasn't had a pole here since 2004. So who should we keep our eyes on? Yes, he's a little bit farther back. He's about 14th, 15th. Going out, Ryan Newman. He has 8 poles here, including 3 of the last 5. And as history has shown, it is important to qualify well here. 76% of the races have been won from a top 10 starting position. This is one team that could definitely use a boost by starting on the pole. Doc?
Thank you very much, Jamie. We welcome you folks inside our pit studio along with Andy Petrie and Dale Jarrett. I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. And as if Ryan Newman needs some help to get a pole. He is an 8-time pole winner at this place, folks. And the last 4 times we've qualified, Ryan Newman has been on the pole 3 of them. He's very good here in this session. But, guys, a lot of challenges now. You heard Dave talking about how the moisture in the air, it's getting cooler and cooler as the night goes on. Andy, how big a challenge is that for these teams?
Well, we'll see. It does seem like in these cool, damp conditions that you will get a track that actually loses grip as you go through the qualifying session. It's kind of, you don't really understand it because you think the cooler is better, but when that dew starts settling on the racetrack, it seems like you do lose a little bit of grip, and that might be what we see later in this session. That's probably what they're talking about. The conditions are going to be ideal from the very start. I mean, this track is it's got a lot of grip. It's very cool. So the first qualifiers got as good of a shot as anybody tonight.
Yeah, and the track is gaining more grip. We heard earlier Denny Hamlin talking about as rubber got down on this track, you got a little bit more grip. So I think these first 15, 18 cars really have a nice advantage. We've seen this type of thing happen in Atlanta where we have night qualifying that you think the further back you draw, the better you're going to be. But we see our guys that get the pole are really in those first 15 or 20 spots.
Well, you want to start up front, but you don't want to be on the pole here at Charlotte in the fall race. And I will tell you why when we come back in just a moment.
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at CiCi's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
Great tailgate party, huh, Duke? Duke?
Excuse me.
What?
I'm from the Tailgate Research Institute. Are those Bush's baked beans?
Wouldn't tailgate without them.
Excellent.
Bush's baked beans are slow cooked with a blend of spices. So whether you're serving sizzling hot dogs at home or juicy brats at the stadium, nothing goes with game day like Bush's baked beans.
It's official. Bush's baked beans are a game day hit.
And no one recognized you.
Jay, I'm a master of disguise.
Home or away, nothing goes with a big game like Bush's baked beans.
Boss by 30 with the fancy chair. But he's learned more with these guys in this chair than he has anywhere. For every king, a throne. For every king, a crown. Crown Royal. Please drink responsibly.
Tuesday nights, the countdown to the final table is on as the decisive run to the November 9 heats up. The main event field is down to 64. Wow. Loaded with top pros as Phil Ivey and Antonio Esfandiari continue their drive to the final table. Who will move one step closer to $8.5 million? The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky, Tuesday at 9 on ESPN.
Family. I care about safety. You want to make sure your next car is safe? Go to VX.com. They've got these crash test videos, 500 of them, from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. They have front impact collisions, side impact collisions. You can see the ratings of how each car performs. Make sure your next car is safe. Go to VX.com.
Watch crash test videos and find the safest car for you at VX.com, your online resource to find your ride. Watch video buying guides and test drives powered by Wheels TV on Comcast On Demand.
NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying, brought to you by Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. Our ultimate clean, your ultimate feeling.
First car rolling here in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. It is the talented Tasmanian in a Toyota. It's tough to say, but Marcos Ambrose, the 33-year-old driver, out to qualify for only the second time in a Cup car here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. He started 23rd here back in the spring and finished 26th.
Really had an outstanding rookie year in this series.
It's this kind of racetrack when it comes to qualifying. If you look at Las Vegas being similar to this racetrack, he qualified 5th there. It's his best oval track qualifying effort.
We will ride along with Marcus Saturday night in our coverage. He will actually be our in-race reporter, so we'll be able to talk with Marcus throughout the night.
I might not be able to understand him, but we'll talk to him. No, I'm just kidding.
And if you have a question you'd like to possibly pose to Marcus, log on to ESPN.com, search Ask the Driver, and maybe have your question answered by Marcus during the race. During one of our caution periods or pre-race, we may pose one of your questions. First time by for Marcus Ambrose, a 28.424 second lap.
Yeah, he picked it up about a 10th of a second from his practice time.
In that earlier practice session, we didn't see a lot of guys run 2 laps, but the ones that I could pay attention to in that, none of them seem to be faster. So we'll see if we get a read here as Marcus tries to run that second lap. Doesn't look like it's going to be quite as quick. Looked like he was using up a little more racetrack.
Coming by, he will be a little slower as he comes by. I was going to ask you guys, as cool as it is as the night goes on, would the second lap, I mean, would getting some heat in the tires maybe give you a shot to have a good second lap?
You know, you would think so, but it doesn't seem to pay off. I mean, it seems like these tires, you pull off pit road, go down in turn 3, and they have just as much grip as they're going to have right off the bat.
Yeah, I think that most of the teams are probably going to go with the theory that they're going to put the air pressure in there, that they think they're getting maximum grip for that first lap. After that, if you happen to mess that first lap up, then you can still go on and run that. But I'm pretty sure they're taped up, and air pressure wise, they're set on go for that one lap.
So Marcos, the first of 47 cars to go out. Here's John Andretti going out to qualify in his Chevrolet.
John had a nice finish last weekend.
And this is a guy that's driven for 9 different teams here at this racetrack.
He's been able to keep it. This car in the top 35 all year, which has been a huge benefit for these guys. knowing they were going to be in each and every race.
John's best qualifying effort here at this racetrack, third, 4 different times in 4 different race cars. Did it driving for the King Richard Petty 3 times. Best finish here was 7th.
No wiggle.
Yep.
Used up a lot of track right there trying to get out of turn 2.
It's going to cost him, too. You can see the tracker. It's going to be slower. He's going to give up this lap.
Bringing in.
And that's the only lap we'll take for John. And I guess that little wiggle got his attention, so no need to take a chance. If you just joined our coverage, they've only had one session of practice about an hour earlier because of rain showers throughout much of the afternoon. Let's check in with Dale Jr. Jamie.
Well, he's down here getting ready to go, and it's chilly down here. So, Dale, you're rolling out 9th. Do you think that's going to be a benefit for you guys?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Track should be the same for everybody. So it's pretty chilly, and it's real late. So the track shouldn't change that much.
Of course, I'm sure everybody's talking to you about the news yesterday. Your dad is in the first class for the Hall of Fame. What does that mean to you?
Well, I'm very proud for him, and I know he would be proud. I know the family's really happy. There wasn't any wrong answers in all the nominees they chose. And it's a shame, that more guys weren't able to get in the inaugural class. Wasn't a little bit larger, but it's just there's a lot of good names out there due to go in. So it'll be exciting over the next several years. And I'm real happy that my father's part of that first class, and I'm just happy in general the Hall of Fame's even there.
All right, good day for the Earnhardts, and Dale Jr. keeps on walking. He'll roll out 9th. Doc.
Indeed, and maybe he will join his famous father someday. Carl running just the 1 lap, guys, and it was not a bad one, 28.639. He struggled in practice, but now he's second of the 3 cars that have gone out thus far.
Historic rivalry takes on national championship implications as Heisman winner Sam Bradford leads the Sooners against the Longhorns. Saturday, 20th ranked Oklahoma battles number 3 Texas, noon Eastern on ABC. College football lives here.
First time? Yeah. I like to call this an amusement park of food. I mean, you buy a ticket and the fun begins.
Oceans of shrimp are waiting for you only at Golden Corral. For around $10, enjoy 10 endless premium dishes like our new shrimp scampi dripping with garlic butter. Splurge with shrimp flatbread, lemon herb shrimp over tilapia, and tortellini topped with shrimp and lobster sauce. Enjoy all 10 plus endless salads, sides, and desserts, all for around $10.
Where else can you get all this for around $10? Nowhere!
Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
My mother made the best toffee in the world. It's delicious. So now we've turned her toffee into a business. My goal was to take an idea and make it happen. I'm Janet Long, and I formed my toffee company through LegalZoom. I never really thought I would make money doing what I love.
We created LegalZoom to help people start their business and launch their dreams. Go to LegalZoom.com today and make your business dream a reality. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
Hey, Dad, did you pick me at a cell phone?
Cell walls are thicker than plasma membranes and were originally discovered by Robert Hooke in a sample of cork.
Okay. So I guess that means you didn't find me a phone?
Thousands of telephone poles are destroyed each year by woodpeckers. Woodpeckers also nest in the cavities of trees, fence posts, and
Which celebrity mom has another one on the way?
What? Sucker mom.
Hot moms.
Mom jeans.
Moms who wear jeans to match their teens' jeans.
Find the cure at Bing.com. It's not just a search engine. It's the first ever decision engine from Microsoft.
Back at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Reed Sorensen did indeed run 2 laps. He was quicker on the first of 2 at 28.795. And that's a lap we'll take. Puts him third of the 4 cars that have gone out thus far. Right now it's Marcos Ambrose, Carl Edwards, Reed Sorensen, and John Andretti.
Another driver, David Reagan, had a really good run last week. His 7th place finish at California. Nice to see this team have something good happen to them. They had a really solid day and got their car the best right there at the end. So good for this UPS Ford.
The longtime crew chief, Jimmy Finnick, there. You know, I guess sometimes you have those days where you luck into a good finish, but they ran well all day and deserved to be there. I mean, their second top 10, and it had been a bit of a struggle for this team much of the year.
Yeah, it really had, but he made some good moves on some restarts. They did good pit strategy and really nothing to go wrong, so that's exactly what they were looking for. See, clocks in third quickest, 28.64.
That's just about what he ran in practice, just a few hundredths quicker.
Let's go down and talk with our provisional pole sitter with Dave Burns.
The talented Tasmanian in the Toyota, I believe you said, Doc, tight, at least on lap 1. But it was a pretty good lap. How's the car?
Yeah, better than me, I can tell you that. Anything sub 29 in the car tomorrow is getting it done. And this place tonight feels so fast, it's insane. I mean, you got tyres that are working great, really cool track, really good horsepower with the cool conditions. You know, it's just insane, and I'm just pleased I brought it back. You know, I took my breath away, and it's not often I'll say that.
You can tell he's still excited, and carry that excitement over tomorrow night when he's our in-race reporter.
We'll have some fun with him tomorrow night. He's always fun to listen to, and we'll be able to talk with him throughout the evening here on Saturday night. Michael Waltrip about to qualify here at the home racetrack. He lives up the street here, and remember, he's not going to run a full schedule next year. May run a very limited schedule in the NASCAR Sprint Cup, although he's talking about running possibly a full-time in the Nationwide Series. Two-time lap. See what he can do there.
In at a 28.72 on that first lap. That's actually a couple of tenths slower than he practiced. See, most of the cars either pick up or run very close to their practice speeds. Like this lap's slower yet.
His best start here was second. His best finish was also second back in the spring race at 2004. And he will not pick it up, and that first lap is the one we'll take. As you guys predicted, it's lap 1 or nothing. Got to get it all done the first time out. So Marcus Ambrose right now on the provisional pole, and beside him is Carl Edwards, and we'll chat with cousin Carl when we come back in just a moment.
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at CiCi's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
What a great event to drive to.
Especially on new Fuel Max tires.
Introducing Goodyear Fuel Max tires. An innovative tread compound saves you 2,600 miles worth of gas over the life of the tires.
2,600 miles.
Now that would be a long race.
Goodyear, get there.
What happened to tequila? These days, it's all velvet ropes and posturing. I don't know about you, but when I drink it, I really like to kick back and be myself. Oops. 1800 tequila. Changed the game.
I'm here with Troy Polamalu. Tell us about the goal line stand.
Well, I owe my great hair to Head & Shoulders. It's for more than just dandruff.
That's not what I asked, Troy.
Isn't it?
No.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Head & Shoulders, 7 benefits, 1 bottle.
This is a special announcement. The public is entitled to purchase cars and homes seized by police and bank agents. An inventory of cars and homes are available now and will be sold to the public. Call 800-620-6812. Cars available from $500. Homes available from $199 a month. Down payment assistance available for those who qualify. For listings in your area, call 800-620-6812. That's 800-620-6812. Call 800-620-6812.
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at CiCi's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
Back in Charlotte, what a lap by Sam Hornich Jr. He right now is second quickest, and Sam has had 3 top 10 qualifying efforts this year. His best of 4th at Talladega and Darlington. Right now, guys, he sits 2nd overall.
Yeah, even though he slowed down a little bit from his practice time, it was still a really nice effort.
You see the tractor right here for Kevin Harvick. He really got into turn 1 in the green pretty fast. Lost a little time off turn 2. And he runs a 28.71. That's a little bit slower than his practice time as well.
Kevin's best start of the year was 7th at California. Finished 10th at California last week. His 3rd top 10 finish in the last 6 races. So they really starting to get things together at RCR and get these guys back where they're accustomed to running in the top 10.
Now they're going to have to get it on the first lap. Nobody's picked up on the second. Kevin Harvick slows down just a little bit.
We told you we'd talk with Cousin Carl. Let's do it, Dave.
And right now he's talking with his teammate David Reagan. You got it by just 100th. How close are your cars? Close in terms of time, but in setup-wise.
I don't know. I was just asking him, and he didn't know. Wasn't sure what he had in his.
Did they tell you anymore?
I was better off when I didn't ask. Yeah, last year I couldn't tell you one spring we had in that thing, but it's okay. It's not. The thing is that our mousetrap here is good enough. Greg Biffle showed us that in practice. I mean, he was screaming fast, and I'm thinking he's going to be the guy to beat for the pole. We just have to get this Aflac Fusion running that way, and limited practice. Bob tried some things. It just bottomed out a little bit more than I thought it was gonna, and now we go race. It's 500 miles. Done really well here racing, and that's what really counts. So the good thing is this track is a little different than the last couple of weeks. And I think that the way it drives is going to suit what we've been doing, and pretty excited to see how it goes.
Could be a better weekend for the Roush guys.
So optimism in the Roush Fenway camp. Here is Dale Earnhardt Jr. out to qualify. Been a big week already the last couple of days for the Earnhardt family.
Well, he's going to be disappointed with this run, though. He's 0.4 of a second slower than his practice time. And Dale, I'm not sure that we're not seeing a little bit of something going on with the racetrack, because it was, Marcus Ambrose picked up a couple of tenths. He's the first car out. We even saw Carl Edwards pick up a little bit, and now we're seeing him slow down.
Yeah, the last 4 of us, we thought it might take we heard Junior say it's real tight, but we thought it might take a little longer than 4 or 5 cars before we started seeing that trend kind of go the other way. But we have seen the last 4 cars slow down from their practice time.
Well, why don't we talk to the man who never slows down at his place, the Rocket Man, Jamie.
We've talked about Ryan Newman quite a bit. 8 laps in practice. Ryan, did that give you any indication what to expect here in qualifying?
I know the track's fast. We all learned that. So we'll see. We got this Transformer Chevrolet, and we'll see if we can transform 6 quick in practice to first out there. Jimmy laid down a heck of a lap in practice. He's going to be really tough to beat, but he's been beaten before.
All right. He's beaten him many times here. 8-time pole sitter here at Lowe's.
I'll tell you what, when you really know you've got these guys' attention and these cars are fast, when every single one of them talk about how fast this racetrack and this qualifying effort is, because these guys are used to going fast. They love to go fast, and we see Casey Kane's going fast.
Now, I was just down there talking to these guys in the garage area just before qualifying. They said they wanted to free him up a little bit because he's too tight, and it looks like it's working. He's still tight. It's a good lap, though, 28.26.
And that is the fastest lap thus far, 191.056.
See what Jimmy runs here. He's next to go. He did pick up about 1,500s from what he practiced, so he broke that little trend that we had there for a minute.
Folks, let me tell you, the fastest lap ever turned by one of these new cars that NASCAR has was 190.907 miles an hour at Texas back in the spring of 2008. They have just beaten that. Fastest these cars have ever qualified. Well, Jimmy Johnson out to qualify, but folks, earlier this evening when he went out to practice, he was a rocket. Listen in.
Oh my God! Yeah, baby, 28.05, brother. That was just cool. I'm not sure I've experienced something like that before. Thank you, boys, for giving me that opportunity. That was amazing. All right, guys, get ready to qualify.
That was 192.4 miles per hour. If he even comes close to that, he will put this car on the pole. Here he comes, and he is already faster than Casey Kane.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to quite get back to that time. Close. Yeah, not quite, but he did.
Good job. Good job. 28.07. Good job. Way to repeat.
192.376 miles an hour. You talked about how cool it was and how fast it was. They are now almost 2 miles an hour faster than this car and this new car that NASCAR has ever qualified on a super speedway.
That's a good lap for the rest of these guys as they go. Good job, man. Very proud of you today. Very, very proud.
If anybody beats him, they're going to have to pick up a lot.
Yeah, he'll probably have a few people making a couple of mistakes trying to get to that number. They see it's out there, but trying to get there, it's very easy to overdrive this and get yourself in trouble.
Jeff Burton on the track. We'll watch his time as we go down and check in with Dave, who's standing by with Sam Hornish Jr.
Yep, and he's a part of that group that has found the speed here tonight. Could you feel it out there, Sam, the more speed that this car has tonight in the good conditions?
Yeah, I mean, especially after being in California and Kansas the last 2 weekends, places where you really fight and drive off the corner. This, you get down in the corner and you're back to full throttle before you even get to the center. So places where we were kind of on and off the throttle all the way out the last 2 weeks, it feels incredibly fast. It's a lot like driving an Indy car. I mean, it's just so quick to the center of the corners there, but it's a lot of fun, and I think it's going to put on a great race for us.
A great lap for Sam.
Sam not afraid to push a button. He did right now. He sits fourth quickest of the 12 cars that have gone out. Jeff Burton's a 3-time winner here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. In fact, he won his last win came here just 1 year ago.
You can see he's trying to get a little bit more out of this second lap. Don't think he's going to find that, but his first lap was 9th quickest at a 28.74, and he does slow down about 0.2 there.
Well, the man that Carl Edwards said would probably have a shot at the pole, Greg Biffle. Let's talk with him. Jamie.
And Carl just came over and talked to Greg, and Carl told us he thinks you're going to be the man to beat for the pole. What do you think with what you're seeing so far?
Well, I don't know. The track's really fast, and, I was trying to help Carl in practice, and he came down, with a broken foot, walks all the way down here to try and help me, tell me what the track felt like. So we'll see. That 22 I did in practice was pretty on the edge, and, I know I got to do a flat in order to be 28. I'll see what I can do, but, I don't want to wreck this car.
All right, Greg's going to take it easy and go for the pole, but be cautious, Doc.
Pretty good teamwork there that Carl Edwards will come all the way down there and try to help his teammate.
Yeah, I don't know if Greg was trying to convince us or himself that he was going to take it a little easy, but that's not the Greg Biffle we know for sure.
Yeah, he's going to be wide open.
Here comes Brian Vickers, speaking wide open, a 6-time pole winner this year.
Yeah, they did struggle in practice earlier, though. Never really got the car up to the speed that we know that they're capable of in these qualifying sessions.
That's good enough right there for 7th. That puts him sort of mid-pack right now of the 13 cars that have run, and he will stay in the throttle for lap 2.
It is about a 0.2 pickup for those guys.
You can see here the second lap slower again. There's no car has picked up on the second lap so far.
Team has struggled the last 2 races out in the chase. They had the engine failure at Kansas, 37th place finish, and they had the accident last week in California, which brought them home, although they were running at the end, brought them home in 29th position. Vickers right now clocking in, staying in 7th overall. Right now it is Superman, the reigning and 3-time champion, Jimmy Johnson Chevy, on the pole at over 192 miles an hour.
First time? Yeah. I like to call this an amusement park of food. I mean, you buy a ticket and the fun begins.
Oceans of shrimp are waiting for you only at Golden Corral. For around $10, enjoy 10 endless premium dishes like our new shrimp scampi dripping with garlic butter, splurge with shrimp flatbread, lemon herb shrimp over tilapia, and tortellini topped with shrimp and lobster sauce. Enjoy all 10 plus endless salads, sides, and desserts, all for around $10.
Where else can you get all this for around $10? Nowhere.
Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
Tuesday nights, the countdown to the final table is on as the decisive run to the November 9 heats up. The main event field is down to 64. Wow. Loaded with top pros as Phil Ivey and Antonio Esfandiari continue their drive to the final table. Who will move one step closer to $8.5 million? The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky, Tuesday at 9 on ESPN.
IRS problems? Associated Tax Relief can help you. What you're about to see and hear is real.
Associated Tax Relief got me a settle.
$500. This company really does what they say they're going to do.
We owed the IRS over $135,000.
All we did was hire the right people to work for us. Associated Tax saved us $99,000.
Associated Tax Relief has helped taxpayers settle their tax debt for less than what they owed.
We owed the IRS over $82,000 in back taxes.
Associated Tax Relief's attorney was a former IRS agent who knew what to do.
His hard work settled our tax debt for only $4,600.
Thousands of taxpayers across the nation have put their trust in Associated Tax Relief. I owed nearly $115,000 and needed help fast. Associated Tax settled my tax debt for way less than what I owed. They saved me over $93,000. Yes, you can solve your IRS problems, and yes, we can help you.
For a free consultation, call 888-775-9482 now.
David Stremme now making it 3 Dodges in the top 5 in qualifying. Casey Kane is 2nd, Sam Hornish 4th, and now Stremme clocks in 5th overall. Here's the Rocket Man on the racetrack, the 8-time Lowe's Motor Speedway pole sitter, Ryan Newman. Settled the pole here back in May, finished 2nd.
This first lap's going to be a little bit off of Jimmy Johnson.
No, it's not very close. About 3/10 off the pole.
Third, old man. Third.
We told you that he's had a history of putting this car on the pole and qualifying so well. 3 times in the last 4 races that we've qualified. He's got good starts here. The problem is being able to back that up and have good finishes, although he did finish 2nd here back in May. Dave.
And the top 2 qualifiers right now, Jimmy Johnson and Casey Kane. Now we're getting yelling too. You all right here?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yelling at us, but
we can see the cars coming. Casey, first to your lap. At the time, it was the fastest of the day. Better than you expected?
No, I mean, we knew we'd pick up some. We a little bit off in practice. We picked up 2/10, and at that point, I knew Jimmy had a good bit left as fast as he ran in practice. So I think I gave some back to him in 3. I screwed up a little bit, and he made probably a pretty perfect lap. That was a fast lap. They did.
Yeah, your lap was pretty good too. Very good lap for the 9 car. 48. Gosh, 2 100ths worse than practice today, but still unbelievable, man. How was that lap?
It was exciting. I think the grip level's gone down some from what we had earlier in the day, and that lap was much more eventful than what I had in practice earlier today. So very proud to back up that lap. Hopefully it's enough. The tough part is everybody's sitting in the truck right now, working up their courage to go bust off a lap and watching what's going on. So I hope we can, stay up top, and it'd be nice to have that first pit stall.
Can you talk a little bit about the speed sense here? 192, that's pretty much getting it with these cars.
Man, it's fast. You're not out of the gas long. At the end of the straightaway, it doesn't seem that fast because you're going so fast through the turn that you're kind of, the novelty is worn off once you get on the straightaway and you catch your breath and, okay, here comes that corner again, and bomb it in there and blast another lap. But whatever's going on with the tire combination right now on the track, there is a ton of grip, and these cars are putting up some fast laps.
Chase leader, fastest in practice, currently fastest in qualifying.
Thank you, Dave. Last week's pole sitter, Denny Hamlin, clocked in 5th overall. Here's Juan Pablo Montoya. Trying to back up the fact that he has finished in the top 5 every single Chase race thus far. 4 in a row. A 2-time pole sitter this year, and see what he can do here in his qualifying lap.
Yeah, it's impressive that Jimmy Johnson and Mark Martin have been in the chase. He may be, I don't know that I guess we still call him a surprise, even though he's been doing it probably for the last 10 or 12 weeks, but they just continued.
Yeah, he had a little glitch right there off turn 4, or middle of 3 and 4, had to get out of the throttle a little bit. He had a good run going to them. He's still 6 quick at a 28.50.
You'd have to think sometimes you carry so much speed off that 4th turn or coming out of turn 4 and the track flattens out. You wonder if his car was a little bit tight right there and he just had to crack the throttle for a split second.
Lots more action coming your way throughout the weekend. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Happy Hour is 6:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. And, of course, on Saturday night at 7 o'clock on ABC. Beginning with NASCAR Countdown, the NASCAR Banking 500, race number 5 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. You want some Nationwide Series action? We got qualifying for you and the race coming your way both tomorrow, 3 o'clock and 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. And NASCAR Now presented by Wrangler tomorrow at 6 Eastern Time. Here's the Biff, and Although he said he would take it easy, we don't believe that'll happen at all. Let's see if he can push the buttons enough here to be able to get up there near Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, a lot of sparks down there in 1 and 2. It shot him up the racetrack, too, and I think that's going to hurt him.
You can see where it turned green right there.
Tight. Sorry, guys. Try another one.
Right there in turn 1.
You hear him say he was tight, but I'm not sure he was as tight as what he was. The car just bottoming out, and that shoots him up the racetrack.
He's way up the racetrack this lap, too. It's going to be a little slower.
Sometimes you go and put that extra tape and get everything done on these qualifying. It happens a lot here. We see it seen it over the years, and then you drive off a little bit harder down in over that hump down in turn 1, and your car will bottom out and shoot you up the track.
Yeah, you see that tracker. He was traveling at that point of the racetrack where it's green faster than Jimmy Johnson, and when you carry that extra speed, sometimes those loads just go up so much that your car travels more than you anticipate.
Well, he attacked the racetrack. It's going to end up right now 8th of the 18 cars that have gone out thus far. Let's check in with Clint Boyer. Jamie.
Well, Clint Boyer was third on the speed charts in the only practice session you guys had. Clint, brand new race car. What do you think is going to happen? You going to give it a run for the pole?
I hope so. He's really fast right now. This Cat Chocolate being here, everybody being here, everybody's hard work and dedication in this race car. It's kind of the new generation of what we got going on at RCR, trying to keep up with these guys, these Hendrick cars. Really, really proud of the guys' effort in this car. They've stepped up our mile-and-a-half program a lot, and I'm looking forward to this lap. It's got to hit your marks. The track's about as scary fast as this car is, so you just got to make sure that you hit your marks. Not pick up the gas too much, don't drive in the corner too hard. If we hit our marks, I think we could have a shot at it.
Scary fast and a big smile for Clint Boyer. Now all he needs is a costume.
Having some fun down there. Let's see what his teammate can do here. We talked about how the RCR cars, all 4 ran well last week in California.
Yeah, this one not so much. That's the slowest car that's run so far, 29.22 for Casey Mears.
He's still in it. Let's see what he can do in lap number 2, trying to run better. And almost looks like a carbon copy of what he did the first time. Casey, who had that great run last week in California, finishing 11th overall. And he will not improve it this time by. So 19 of the 19 cars that have gone out. Jimmy Johnson right now atop the speed charts. Kane, Newman, Ambrose, and Hamlin the top 5.
Historic rivalry takes on national championship implications as Heisman winner Sam Bradford leads the Sooners against the Longhorns. Saturday, 20th ranked Oklahoma battles number 3 Texas, noon Eastern on ABC. College football lives here.
It's Macy's Men's Wardrobe Sale, where savings and style come together. Update your wardrobe with the best brands at prices that can't be beat. Get moving on your new look for fall. Go to Macy's.com for your savings pass to save even more.
Come together.
Macy's Men's Wardrobe Sale. That's the magic of Macy's.
When your engine's running clean, you feel it. And Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil cleans out up to 46% of sludge in your first oil change and continues to clean in your next change. Feel our ultimate clean. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at CC's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
It's the car that's turning the RC world on its side and upside down. Introducing Zero Gravity Nano from Air Hogs. You can drive on walls or totally invert it. And now it's smaller than ever, so you can anywhere and everywhere. Just store it, charge it, and stash it. When you're ready to race, it's ready to go. You can drive up and around any smooth surface. Rip through obstacle courses you never imagined before with other RCs. And when you order, you'll also get race course wall clinks and pylons. So you can set up the ultimate track just about anywhere. All for $29.95. Zero Gravity Nano is turning the RC world upside down. You'll get the AirHawk Zero Gravity Nano with controller charger, 44 racecourse wall clings, and 12 pylons. All for $29.95 plus shipping and handling. Batteries not included. Zero Gravity Nano, taking small to the wall. Here's how you can order.
You can call 1-800-726-1382. Zero Gravity Nano is $29.95 plus $12.99 shipping and handling. Must be 18 or older to order.
NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying ongoing. Jamie McMurray right now the fastest of the Roush Fenway cars that have gone out. He is 7th overall. And here's the one car of Martin Truex out for his second lap of qualifying. Right now he sits 10th after lap 1.
Well, he was trying to do something nobody else has done. That's run faster on the second lap, but as you can see, he does not either.
Just joined our coverage. Jimmy Johnson has, as they say in the NASCAR terms, he's laid one down. Wow, what a lap by Johnson. 28.070 over 192 miles an hour. Casey Kane is second, and Ryan Newman standing by with Dave Burns is third.
And, Doc, we knew that from practice he had a shot at the pole. Ryan, where was the lap lost?
I could have pushed the car a little bit more in 1 and 2, not knowing what to expect entirely, but I felt like I had a really good 3 and 4. I don't know where I would have picked up 3 tenths. I'd say you have to take the average of the lap, but Jimmy did a great job. We're just happy to be qualifying better. We struggled the last 2 weeks, starting 30th or worse, and this will be a definite gain from that with the Transformer Chevrolet.
Nice comeback for the 8-time pole sitter here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Indeed it was, Dave. Here's a 20 car. Rookie driver Joey Logano qualified 14th. Back in May, finished 9th. That's his only Cup Series start here at this track.
Yeah, pretty good effort here. Excellent. 28.41. I think the impressive thing, watching these guys and listen to them talk about, this car wasn't designed for more speed. And here they are running these fast times. You know, it was designed safety in mind and making some changes as far as a lot less downforce. So these things aren't supposed to be happening running these fast laps.
The one thing that these guys do, though, they keep making more and more power. They keep working in the engine rooms, and they're making more power. And they're learning this car. I mean, they're finding ways to make this car go fast. And that's, you know, these are the best guys in the business, in the world when it comes to working on stock cars. So they're going to figure out a way to make this car go fast.
Did you find Jimmy Johnson's comments interesting? Jimmy knows everybody's back in the hauler watching qualifying. He says, you know, the track's losing grip level. Boy, it was a little hairy lap I ran. You think he's playing some mind games? Yeah. Let's go down to Jamie Little.
Well, Doc, there's a lot of talk this month, of course, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're seeing a lot of pink and a bright pink number 19 for Elliott Sadler, the pink highlights. I know this is near and dear to your heart, Elliott. Tell us about breast cancer awareness and what it means to you.
Well, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Stanley's let us run the pink car for the 2nd straight year, and man, we're just very proud to do that. And my mom was able to come share this event with us last year, and it meant so much to me and my family that we're doing it again. And we actually have Brandy Hickman that came from out of town, who's actually a stage 4 cancer survivor. She's here this weekend. She's our special guest here with the team. We want to do a good job for her, and also for Susan G. Coleman. What they've meant to my mom in her life and to our family, they just bring so many answers and so much joy and just relief out of a lot of stressful things going on in your life. So we just want to bring awareness to that, and that's why we're running a pink car tonight.
All right, it's great to see you out here for a good cause. And the breast cancer survivor is out here near his car, and his mom is a breast cancer survivor, and she'll be here tomorrow, as he said.
Yeah, his mom, Belle, diagnosed a few years ago with breast cancer, so you can tell how important this whole message is for Elliott Sadler and so many here in this sport.
Yeah, she's doing great now. A great family Elliott comes from. I will tell you, Elliott has a lot of pink in his closet anyway, so this isn't anything new for him. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, boy. Yeah, lock the door because he headed it. A.J. Allmendinger, 12th overall in his Dodge, 188.646 miles per hour. Jimmy Johnson right now, guys, 192 miles an hour. And we talked about the track getting cooler and cooler and maybe being tougher and tougher to get grip as the night goes on. As you look at the list, you got some ideas of someone who may have a shot at it?
Well, this guy right here might be one. He was 3rd quickest in practice, so we're going to see what the track has in it right here. Clint sounded like he was pretty confident, going to be able to run a good lap.
Yeah, he and Mark Martin were really the only 2 guys that looked like that they were fast enough to maybe just pick up a little bit and challenge Jimmy for the pole. Look at that, 200 miles an hour.
Wow. On a 1.5-mile racetrack.
Too tight. You can see him willing that thing. He was having to move the front end back and forth there through turns 1 and 2, trying to get it to turn where he can stand the throttle off the corner.
You can see he gave the car an opportunity. He was right on pace until that happened, until the car already got too tight.
Yeah, still pretty good lap, but you can see that tightness is hurting him as he exits turn 4.
Probably put him in the top 5 right now, 4th overall, first time by. See if he'll try to make it better, or realizing that no one has been faster on lap 2, he stays in it.
Yeah, sometimes you get the idea with a tighter race car on that first lap that the tires and everything, you may free it up some. It won't have quite the grip, and that might give you a little bit more speed. But what we've seen here so far, that's not the case, although he's going to be pretty close. Well, he lost a lot of it right there on the exit of turn 4.
Well, not a bad effort at all for Clint Boyer. 4th quickest for his Chevy.
Bad when they're saying they're sorry and just ran 190 miles an hour average on a 1.5 mile racetrack. But
next up here now is another car that's going to have a shot at Mark Martin.
We invite you to join us Saturday night, live flag-to-flag coverage. It is stop number 5 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the NASCAR Banking 500, only from Bank of America. Here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, it all begins with NASCAR Countdown. Remember, Mark Martin is tied with Bobby Allison and Cale Yarborough for the most 500-mile wins. They've all won 3. Could Martin make it 4? And by the way, points leader Jimmie Johnson is a 5-time winner here. There is Jimmie Johnson's car, which is the one they got to beat right now for the pole. And the guy who might have a shot at him is his teammate on the racetrack right now. Here is the ageless wonder, 50-year-old Mark Martin.
Yeah, I started looking at the sheets that we are given here with the stats and things, and it was almost needing 2 sheets. Mark started his career in the Cup Series back in 1982 at this racetrack.
He's got a good one going. Doesn't look like it's going to be a threat to beat Jimmie Johnson. It'll be close, though.
Man, good lap, though.
Oh, man, 28-15.
Wow.
That was a great lap.
Man, it's so fun to see this guy still getting it done week in and week out.
Gets within a 10th of Jimmie Johnson.
Awesome race car. Thank you, guys. Man, that thing was perfect. It didn't even take no life out off the end of me. Thank you, man. I maybe could have got a little more than 1 and 2, but I made up for it down in 3 and 4. I got.
Yeah, sometimes you run a lap like that, it takes your breath, but you can hear Mark talking as he came out of turn 2 there, so that's pretty good indication that he could handle it.
Guys, how strong is this team here? Take a look at Jimmie Johnson, Jeff Gordon, and Mark Martin and their wins here at this racetrack. 14 wins just among those 3 guys. And by the way, Jeff Gordon also has 7 poles at this place. Can he make it 8 poles? To do it, he'll have to run over 192.3 miles an hour. And set an all-time record in qualifying with this new car, and also beat his teammate Jimmie Johnson.
Car looked good through turns 1 and 2.
Another good lap going.
Not bad.
5th overall, first time by.
And what we can see there is the lap that Jimmie Johnson put down, that these are all being compared to how good he got through turn 3 and off of turn 4. That's where he really seemed to get everybody.
So it's Jimmie Johnson, Mark Martin, Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, and Jeff Gordon right now in the top 5. Back in a moment.
Precision handling, high-performance braking, smooth and comfortable ride. Tame the road, hand-cooked tires.
Oceans of shrimp are now at Golden Corral. For around $10, enjoy 10 endless premium dishes like our new shrimp scampi, lemon herb shrimp over tilapia, and tortellini with shrimp and lobster sauce.
Where else can you get all this for around $10? Nowhere!
Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
Ordinary toothbrushes are designed to clean your teeth. But the millions of bacteria that cause plaque and bad breath are all over your mouth. That's why you want the Cross Action Pro Health from Oral-B. Unlike an ordinary toothbrush, the Oral-B Cross Action Pro Health combines crisscross bristles, gum stimulators, and even a tongue cleaner. So brush away plaque and odor-causing bacteria to get a clean, healthy mouth with the Cross Action Pro Health from Oral-B.
Hey, did you ever find tickets to Hawaii?
Hawaii 5-0. Book 'em, Dano. Aloha. Mele Kalikimaka. Surf lingo. Bruh, I was stoked when I caught that tasty barrel.
Seriously, did you price out tickets?
How to beat a traffic ticket. 10 proven methods traffic courts don't want you to know.
What are you talking
Talk
about?
turkey.
What?
Talk live with hot singles in your area. They're waiting.
Who's waiting?
Find the cure at Bing.com. It's not just a search engine, it's the first ever decision engine from Microsoft.
Are your credit cards maxed out? Just making minimum payments or even behind on your bills? Freedom Debt Relief's mission is to help you get rid of your credit card debt.
I had over $25,000 in credit card debt. Then I called Freedom Debt Relief and got my debt cut in half. I was debt-free in less than 24 months.
This is a unique program that will get you relief and on your way to being debt-free. Make the most important call of your life today.
Call Freedom Debt Relief now at 1-800-324-8991. That's 1-800-324-8991.
7 car, the Freightliner Toyota, Robbie Gordon. Pretty good lap there. I mean, much better than he had been in practice, guys. Almost in the top 10.
Yeah, he's really solid. Looked like they had a solid practice effort, too. So maybe things will be good for Robbie Gordon this weekend.
00, David Rudiman out to qualify. We'll watch his qualifying effort and check in with Dave.
With Mark Martin, who is still currently second. Mark, you got it down to a 15. You pleased with that?
Man, I stepped up my game, but just not enough yet. I really feel like one of the luckiest guys in the world to be driving this car. There's nothing in the world like driving a race car like that. It was so good today, and we picked up from practice. I gave them everything I had in practice, and I just reached out there and tried to get enough more to beat Jimmy. But, you know, these guys are the best. They're so much fun to go race with, and they put me in these race cars that are just absolutely unbelievable, incredible horsepower, and Alan and all the guys just figure out how to set them up for me. And that, believe it or not, the speed isn't what scares you. It's driving over your head, and that car was so good that one right there didn't scare me nearly as much as the last 4 or 5 that we've been doing. So that's really cool. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to get out here and race trim tomorrow and the race Saturday night, because I know that that thing's going to do good for us.
Sounds like you'll have something for him, Jamie.
Dave, look at this fire suit. It's almost like a blue hue. It's so pink. Kyle Busch smiling. Kyle, you told us how fast your Nationwide car is. What do you think for your Cup car?
I'm not sure. We'll see. You know, I'm hoping for about a 20, something like that. It's real fast tonight, so the track is, you know, but so is the 48 and a 5, of course. But we'll see what this M&M's Camry has in store for us. And special thanks to the Susan G. Komen Foundation and everybody for giving me the opportunity to wear pink this weekend.
Seeing a lot of guys wearing pink down here. It's a good scene. Hey, Kyle Busch was your pole sitter here 1 year ago, Don.
Yeah, we appreciate what they're doing for that foundation as well. And here's a 98 car. That's Paul Menard on the racetrack. Right now he clocks in 22nd on his first lap.
Good to see. Looked like Kyle Busch feeling a lot better this weekend, so good to see that. And he mentioned the Komen Foundation. That is just a wonderful organization. Had the opportunity starting back in 1997 to get involved with them, go to a lot of their annual luncheons, and they just do so many good things for so many people, and they're doing their level best around the world in trying to help find a cure for breast cancer.
Paul Menard, that's the lap we'll take it. No one, as you said, guys have predicted earlier, has been able to get quicker. Even if they make a mistake on the first lap, they still can't be faster on lap 2 here in qualifying.
Yeah, might as well save the gas and just run one.
I mentioned that while you were watching a moment ago, the winner back in May, David Rudiman, did clock in the top 15. The 00 car, Rudiman, right now 13th overall. So 29 of the 47 cars have qualified, and now here is Elliott Sadler. We talked to him earlier, and let's see what he can do here in his Dodge.
Elliott struggled quite a bit in practice. 29.10 was the best they were able to get with his Dodge.
Elliott's a former pole sitter here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Won the pole back in the fall of 2005, driving for then Robert Yates.
A little wiggle coming off turn 4. He'll be a little quicker. Yeah, he's quicker than practice, but still just 27th.
So right now, Jimmy Johnson is the guy they're all chasing. You know, you talk about in the chase how the chasers are finishing in the top 10. We've had 7 out of 10 last week. The week before we had 9 out of 10 chasers. Look at qualifying, and the top 5 cars are all chase contenders.
Well, that's what put them in position to race for a championship, as these teams have kind of separated themselves from the others a little bit. And they continue to show it week in and week out, especially as things kind of get really serious as the season and the opportunity to win the championship really get down to these final races.
Here's Kurt Busch. He was 20th overall in the practice session, the 1-hour session they have. I went down to the garage area a little bit ago. They said that they spent a good bit of that session in race trim, and when they went into qualifying trim at the end of the session, the car was very, very loose, and he had a hard time just hanging on.
I think he was all on the wheel a little bit on that get up speed lap.
Just watching him moving the wheel there, it showed more of a tighter race car possibly. So they may have over-adjusted from that situation of being a little bit loose.
Good lap, though. It's in the top 10, 28.47.
Boy, he did make the best of that, indeed. And that's one lap is all he's going to take on that one. Enough salt on that steering wheel.
Well, yeah, he sees that, and he's seen everybody else go out there, and, you know, sometimes even as good as you think you are, what makes you think you're going to go faster. And, yeah, that was probably all that he wanted to get. Figured he had got the most out of it. And the grip level wasn't going to get any better if he tried to make that extra lap. He was saving the fuel that Andy wanted to save.
Yeah, he's been watching this. He's seen nobody pick up.
Well, we've seen some records fall already tonight. Here's another one that's going to be close in terms of consecutive starts. Bobby Labonte will be making his 575th consecutive start. The only one above him, you see Jeff Gordon will be making 576 on Saturday night. Bobby back driving the Yates Ford Fusion. He's been driving a Chevrolet off and on. Ben Leslie, the crew chief there watching. Bobby will be in this car for this week and for Martinsville. And then the rest of the year, they will have Eric Darnell in this car, and Bobby will go back to driving the Buckner Chevrolet, the 71 car.
Pretty good lap.
28.61.
Walked in 17th. There were a lot of years back in the early 2000s and maybe 99 and a couple of those years when it seemed like it was either going to be Bobby Labonte or Jeff Gordon that was going to get the pole here. I talked to Bobby about that one time. He said he learned some things around Jeff Gordon and watching him, and he actually went up and was watching qualifying from the outside one. He wouldn't tell me what he learned, but he said it was something that helped him to go fast here.
I don't blame him for not telling you.
Bobby was the last driver to win here in the fall and go on to win the championship. That was back in 2000. So never in the chase has the driver won the fall race at Charlotte and go on to win the championship in the same year. That could change, though, this year.
Yeah, and talking about it, as we watch Tony Stewart get ready for his qualifying lap, Bobby obviously won that championship with Joe Gibbs Racing. I have to say that my brother-in-law, Jimmy Makar, who really started that whole thing as far as the racing organization at Joe Gibbs Racing, is still an integral part of that. He lost his father this week. Jimmy's father passed away on Tuesday, so we'll send out our thoughts and prayers to Jimmy and his family, my sister Patty and their 2 children, and the rest of the family.
And Tony Stewart knows how much of a major part Jimmy Makar had been over the years in his success when he was at Joe Gibbs Racing. Now Tony driving for his own team, and Stuart Haas, and what a lap he turns in.
Another good one. That's a 4th fastest time. 28.35.
They were, but that's good for me. Yeah, well, we're real happy with that.
Tony driving the same car he drove to Victory Lane a couple of weeks ago in Kansas. So we're not in Kansas anymore, as Dorothy said to Toto, but Tony having a good night with that car here in Charlotte.
It's just so much fun to listen to these guys and how tickled they are with the speed and being able to run this fast in the grip level that they have. If that transfers over to Saturday night, we're going to have one of the best races we've ever seen here.
Well, you know, last time we were on a 1.5 mile racetrack at Kansas, we set a record for lead changes and leaders. And look at where these guys are qualified right now. You got Johnson and Martin right there. Tony Stewart's up there. Jeff Gordon the 5-time winner here, 6. So you got so many cars. And wow, that's where they are right now as of qualify. Still got more cars to qualify, but after 33 of the 47 have gone out.
Yeah, here's a guy that could shuffle that up. He certainly knows how to go fast. On a pretty good lap here. He's going to run about a 20.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a close. It's a 29 or 28-39.
Definitely puts him in the top 10 right now, 8th overall. Kyle Busch, a 4-time winner this year. Las Vegas, Richmond, and both Bristol races.
Still digging.
Yeah, if he can get a little grip off of this corner right here, he may have something for second lap.
This might be the first lap we've seen, second lap, that's faster than the first.
Well, right there.
He does it. He's the first guy to pick up on the second lap.
You were faster on your second lap. 28-38, P7.
And that moves him up a spot, 7th overall. Jamie.
And David Gilliland is the man who relieved Kyle Busch 1 week ago, just jumped in the race car. Now you get your own time here for Joe Gibbs Racing. What's it like knowing you have to qualify on time?
It's nerve-wracking, like always, but, Joe Gibbs Racing has brought a great Toyota Camry to the track, and we got Farm Bureau insurance on the car. Really excited for all them guys. They got a bunch of insurance agents coming in, and really glad that we're going to get to qualify here and hopefully get to race Saturday night. So real excited about this opportunity. The car was good. Fine being a little bit too tight in practice, and we're practice was cut so short that we didn't have a lot of time to make changes, but we feel like we've made some good changes to the car and leaned on some of the teammates a little bit, and hopefully we'll be good here.
Speaking of teammates, you're also doing double duty and you're going to be racing nationwide, but we didn't see you in practice. Why?
It's just so hard to go back and forth. My original plan was to drive the Mikasugi Chevrolet in the first practice and then not the second, but then it got, everything got changed, and Mother Nature kind of changed practice on us a little bit. So, Sterling Marlin shook the car down, said it felt good, and we'll be good. That's a car we raced at Kansas, and they won with here last year in this race. So, feel like we got good notes, and we'll be all right over there.
All right, David Gilliland will be in the one car in the nationwide race tomorrow night, but right now his sights are set on making the field here in the Cup race.
Thank you, Jamie. Everybody thought Kenseth would be Biffle would be the fast car for Roush Fenway. Right now it is Matt Kenseth, 4th overall.
Boss by 30 with the fancy chair. But he's learned more with these guys in this chair than he has anywhere. For every king, a throne. For every king, a crown. Crown Royal. Please drink responsibly.
Great tailgate party, huh, Duke? Duke?
Excuse me.
What?
I'm from the Tailgate Research Institute. Are those Bush's baked beans?
Wouldn't tailgate without them.
Excellent.
Bush's baked beans are slow cooked with a blend of spices. So whether you're serving sizzling hot dogs at home or juicy brats at the stadium, nothing goes with game day like Bush's baked beans.
It's official. Bush's baked beans are a game day hit.
And no one recognized you.
Jay, I'm a master of disguise.
Home or away, nothing goes with a big game like Bush's baked beans.
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at CiCi's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
Hey, Dad, did you pick me at a cell phone?
Cell walls are thicker than plasma membranes and were originally discovered by Robert Hooke in a sample of cork.
Okay. So I guess that means you didn't find me a phone?
Thousands of telephone poles are destroyed each year by woodpeckers. Woodpeckers also nest in the cavities of trees, fence posts, and
Which celebrity mom has another one on the way?
What? Soccer mom.
Hot moms.
Mom jeans.
Moms who wear jeans to match their teens' jeans.
Find the cure at Bing.com. It's not just a search engine, it's the first ever decision engine from Microsoft.
To give the Honda Accord even greater fuel efficiency and safety, its frame is engineered out of high tensile strength steel. This makes it strong, yet light. So strong, in fact, it's an Insurance Institute top safety pick. And so light, it offers great fuel efficiency, taking the Accord to a whole new level. Go to shophonda.com to get a quote on a new Accord.
I had always tinkered with automobiles. It was addicting.
Want to work on cars? This is the best way to do it. WildTech is the real deal. They teach it all to you right there.
It's like going to school for a hobby.
You know you're learning something that you're going to use.
Preparing you for the outside world.
Life's looking good right now.
My
school's WildTech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Train with WildTech. Even if you don't have a high school diploma or a GED, we may have a program that can help you. Get on the fast track to a career. Train with Wyotech
at 1-800-515-9733.
Travis Quapple, the former Truck Series champion, making his first start, or trying to make his first start since Bristol back in the spring when he was driving for Doug Yates. And he's the first car of the go or go homers that must get in on time and speed. Right now, he is the second slowest on the track at 36th position. And Max Pappas, coming off his best qualifying effort of the year last week at California, where he started 15th. His first lap, guys, puts him 34th.
Yeah, not a bad lap for him. See if he can pick it up a little. Doesn't look like he's going to get quite as much out of this lap, though. Slows down a couple of tenths. They'll have to wait and see if that's fast enough.
And remember, there are 47 cars here, so 4 will not make it. We'll keep an eye on the 4 slowest as we head down to Jamie.
And it was heartbreak 1 year ago. Brad Keselowski was one of those guys that went home, but because it got rained out. This time around, though, how much effort did you guys put into making the field here?
Quite a bit, but you know, with these races here aren't impound, so everybody does. So I feel pretty good about it. We the same car we had at Kansas, and we ran pretty well there, and feel like we can get a good top 10 qualifying effort here today. I don't know how anyone's going to touch that 48 car. That's a phenomenal lap. Jimmy and Chad have got it going on. I watched Mark run what I thought was a perfect lap. Missed them by 2/10, so that's just phenomenal. They got a lot to be proud of, but we've got a strong go day at Com Chevrolet here too, and hopefully we can get a good solid top 10 starting spot.
All right, another guy who knows how to get around here is on the track in the 71, Mr. Mike Bliss. Doc?
And Mike Bliss, guys, was very good in the only practice session we had today. He was 7th overall.
Pretty good right here, too. This is going to be a good, solid effort. Oh, man. He's going for it.
Hell of a job.
Man.
Well, he was 7th in practice, and with that lap, with a very small race team and a very few people and a minimal budget, he is 7th in qualifying.
He got tied off.
That should hold up for 7th. That was a great effort right there for Mike Bliss.
They lease engines from Earnhardt Childress Racing. They have bought used cars from the RCR and DEI. And they have so few people, but they still manage to make it work.
I just talked to them in the garage area. They said they were going to go for the pole position here. They weren't holding anything back. It felt like they had a car that could do it.
DJ Watches coming off the corner.
Yeah, you just carry so much speed, and it looks like your car's loose, but you could hear him talk about he got tight on the exit, and he just had to keep putting more wheel in it to keep from hitting the wall, and the back end breaks loose. But a great effort. Nice job by Mike Bliss.
Next out to qualify, how about the former 2-time champion, Texas Terry Labonte. Terry officially retired, but does run occasionally in a race, and this is a car owned by John Carter. We'll see what he can do with this Toyota. Terry, 865 Cup Series races, 4th all-time, behind Richard Petty, Ricky Rudd, and Dave Marcus in terms of career starts.
And still counting.
Still adding to him. And as being a former champion, you know, he would be guaranteed a past champion's provisional.
He clocks in 37th right now to 29.08.
So 39 of 47 have taken time. Still a few more to go. Who will get in? How about that lap for Mike Bliss?
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at CC's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
When it's real, you know when it's real. When it's real, you know when it's real.
Bark, scratch my belly. Bark, bark, bark.
Wendy's burgers are always fresh and cooked the hot and juicy way. We never freeze them like a hockey puck or keep them stuck like some others may in a warming tray. A philosophy is good old honesty. Come on, let's face it. You know real by how we make it. When it's real, you know it's real. You know when it's real.
It's Macy's Men's Wardrobe Sale, where savings and style come together. Update your wardrobe with the best brands at prices that can't be beat. Get moving on your new look for fall. Go to Macy's.com for your savings pass to save even more.
Come together.
Macy's Men's Wardrobe Sale. That's the magic of Macy's.
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at CC's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
That's cool. 1800 just poured me a shot. What can your top do? Nothing. 1800 tequila. Change the game.
Front row Joe Nemechek, well, he won't be on the front row, but he should be in the show because right now he's the second quickest of the go-or-go-homers. Good job by Joe. And to talk about a few people and very little or no money, but he's getting it done. Right now he clocks in 32nd overall. Sterling Marlin on the track to qualify. Let's check in where Davis caught up with Tony Stewart.
A very quick lap, very close to what he ran in his mock qualifying run. Tony, you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm real happy with that. That's why I was hoping I could run there. I mean, I'd love to have been able to run an 07 like Jimmy, but and they got the qualifying deal figured out here. But that's a good lap for us. That's a good lap for especially me. But Darian, those guys are pretty happy with us off the steeple, especially.
Great starting spot for the 14, Jamie.
And Mike Bliss, 7th on the board right now. Everybody was watching you went, oh, what happened there at the end?
I think I just carried a little more speed center off, and it started getting a little tight. And I just kind of kept my foot in it, and it was headed towards the wall. And anytime you get up towards that wall, it falls off, and then it kicks out. So it looked worse than what it was. But, I want to thank Slugger and all the guys over there, the Tax Slayers Chevrolet. This thing was faster off the trailer. I'm just real happy we get a race.
He is a driver for hire, and he is making it work. 7th right now, guys. Very impressive.
Indeed impressive. No better way to be able to find a ride is do stuff like he did. You got to just put it out on the edge and hang on to it.
Yeah, one of these days somebody's going to realize Mike Bliss can drive a race car. I'm going to tell you, he can stand on the gas.
Sterling Marlin clocking in 37th, and actually he was faster on his second lap. I'll get it out in a minute. 28.950 seconds, and that right now puts him third slowest.
Pretty good lap by Sterling Marlin, though, because he didn't get any practice. They had an engine problem early on.
So Sterling had to go out and just put it in the wind in there with essentially no track time. Here's Michael McDowell. See what he can do to get this Toyota in the field.
See, we're comparing him to Joe Nemechek's time. Just a little bit off of Joe's time, and if he doesn't beat Joe, Joe will lock in.
That's a pretty good effort, though. He's going to lose by about 1/10 and a half there.
And second time right there at it again. He's going to lose some time coming off too there.
And most of these guys we're going to see have to take that second lap. Unless they just really lay one down that first one and they know that they're locked in there, they're going to have to go for that second lap and just see if they can pick up a little bit.
And only 2 cars of all the cars, the 42 that have qualified, have run faster on the second lap. And by just a little bit, both of them, Kyle Busch and Sterling Marlin.
Well, he doesn't run any faster, and that does indeed lock in Joe Nemechek. So the 71 of Bliss and Nemechek are locked in. Still a few more cars to go.
When your engine's running clean, you feel it. And Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil cleans out up to 46% of sludge in your first oil change and continues to clean in your next change. Feel our ultimate clean. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
First time? Yeah. You know, I like to call this an amusement park of food. I mean, you buy a ticket and the fun begins.
Oceans of shrimp are waiting for you only at Golden Corral. For around $10, enjoy 10 endless premium dishes like our new shrimp scampi dripping with garlic butter, splurge with shrimp flatbread, lemon herb shrimp over tilapia, and tortellini topped with shrimp and lobster sauce. Enjoy all 10 plus endless salads, sides, and desserts, all for around $10.
Where else can you get all this for around $10? Nowhere.
Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
On October
October 17th, the battle between good and evil will be settled on the racetrack in Charlotte. Ryan Newman is Optimus Prime. Jeff Gordon is Megatron. Visit ESPN.com and search keyword Transformers to choose your side and enter to win a VIP trip to Homestead Miami Speedway. The biggest movie of the year meets the baddest race of the fall. Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Own it October 20th on DVD and Blu-ray. NASCAR Banking 500 at Lowe's Motor Speedway, October 17th on ABC.
What a great event to drive to.
Especially on new Fuel Max tires.
Introducing Goodyear Fuel Max tires. An innovative tread compound saves you 2,600 miles worth of gas over the life of the tires.
2,600 miles. Now that would be a long race.
Goodyear. Get there.
What happened to tequila? These days, it's all velvet ropes and posturing. I don't know about you, but when I drink it, I really like to kick back and be myself. Oops. 1800 tequila. Change the game.
We don't have a $5 footlong or a fancy jingle, but at CC's, we have a 24-foot-long endless buffet of pure deliciosity. And for 2 weeks, it's only $4.99. That's a $4.99 24-foot-long to you, friend.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Qualifying, brought to you by Crown Royal Blended Canadian Whiskey. For every king, a crown. Please drink responsibly.
Final cars going out to qualify here. We had 47 cars total. We've had 43 right now take time. Jimmy Johnson atop the speed charts. His teammate Mark Martin is second. Casey Kane, Kenseth, Stewart, that's a top 5. And the 66 car, Dave Blaney, out to qualify. He clocked in 39th. And that locked in the 13 car of Max Pappas.
Great lap for Scott Speed. A 28.48 is going to put him 14th.
Yeah, he picks up about a tenth of a second there from what he practiced earlier, so that's a really nice effort.
Yeah, good job for Jimmy Elledge and the team. Got this Red Bull car running fast.
Let's go down and talk with Matt Kenseth. Jamie.
We're standing here watching qualifying continue, and pretty good qualifying effort for you, 4th. Were you guys happy with that?
Yeah, that was more than pretty good for us. The car was really good, and I don't usually get, it seems like, very good laps qualifying. So the guys did a great job on the Carhartt Fusion today and made the right adjustments for qualifying and got a good lap out of it.
How do you guys feel overall? Your teammates seemed pretty optimistic about what you guys brought here.
Well, optimistic is my middle name for sure. So
right.
It seems like lately we've been gaining on a little bit. It's been a little bit hit and miss, but yet I feel like we're going down the right path, and we seem to be gaining on, and our cars seem to be getting a little bit more speed here and there. So hopefully we'll get all put together here and be able to finish the season strong.
All right. Optimistic is a good thing for Matt Kenseth. He's pulling double duty this weekend.
And good to see Matt smiling here now. There's a 25 car. Brad Keselowski. This is the car, by the way, that he qualified 3rd with at Kansas. So this will be the last time he'll be in a Hendrick Chevy. Let's see what he can do with it.
He's going to do something pretty good with it. He's going to get in the top 10.
How about 8th right there on that first lap?
Shut it off. B8. Shut it off.
That's Tony Jr. saying shut it off.
We've risked it enough. Well, we're going to show you. We talked about records here at Lowe's Motor Speedway tonight. And, folks, we have set one here in all-time qualifying this year in terms of qualifying speeds at tracks, but also qualifying speeds for the new car. What we called the COT a couple of years ago. It's the new car version of the car. Look at that. 192.376 miles an hour.
Yeah, we used to see that at Daytona, Talladega, them being the fastest tracks, but Charlotte now showing up on 2 of the top 5 there. Fastest speeds this year.
Now there's the rocket right there in the garage area getting all polished up for happy hour, which we'll have tomorrow. And, of course, race coverage starting on ABC Saturday night. David Gilliland, we heard the interview, and he's getting a great opportunity to drive for Joe Gibbs Racing. He'll run 3 races this year here in Texas and Homestead in a 4th Joe Gibbs car. Let's see what he can do.
Well, he got a good solid lap so far. See, he's got about 2.5 tenths to work with. Now we're going to switch over and compare him to the pole sitter. Looks like he's clocking in about 14th. You hear him talk about the pressure that he was feeling as he knew he had to make it on time. Didn't seem to show much pressure there. Great lap.
Good job, bud. That's a 4.62. Good job, buddy.
That's Wally Brown, the R&D crew chief, Joe Gibbs Racing, and he'll be the chief wrench on this operation. And indeed, what a job, I mean, for David Gilliland. The regular driver for Joe Gibbs Racing, Joey Logano, had a good lap, and he's 12th, and now Gilliland clocks in 14th. Here's a 21 car going out to qualify, and it is Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. 54-year-old Bill Elliott. Folks, Bill trying to qualify for his 60th race, 60th start here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Michael McDowell is the car on the bubble. And the 36 car is a 28.90.
And he is going to have to qualify on time. He can't use that past champions provisional. Terry Labonte is going to be the one using that because he's the most recent champion.
Talked to Lynn and Eddie Wood. They were the Wood brothers, and they were both excited about their mile-and-a-half package. They plan on running at Texas and Homestead, the other 2 mile-and-a-half tracks that remain this year. Remember, Bill Elliott qualified 4th at Indianapolis for the Brickyard this year. See what he can do here tonight.
Willing it there out of turn 4, and that's going to get him in the race. Nice job by Bill Elliott and the Wood brothers. Let's call him on in, boys.
That's good. That's good. Don't keep running. I believe I can call him in. When you got a pro like Bill Elliott, though, you don't worry too much about it.
Yeah, he's still working that steering wheel pretty hard, hanging on.
Man.
It's going to be a little slower. Still in the race, though.
Yeah, that gets him in solidly in 36th position. So it is official. Jimmy Johnson has turned the fastest lap of the year in qualifying in that 48 car. And the guys who will not make it, we'll show you the guys that did not qualify. The 37 of Travis Quapple, Dave Blaney, Michael McDowell, and the 09 of Sterling Marlin. Across the top of your screen, we'll show you the grid. The top 3 cars are chase contenders, Johnson, Martin, and King. Ken's a good run for the Roush Fenway cars, and Stewart and Newman in 5th and 6th. Let's go down and talk with our pole sitter, Dave.
And his 3rd pole of the season comes at a great time, just took over the championship lead. And can you look forward to Saturday night now even more?
This is a great night, obviously, to get the pole here at Lowe's Motor Speedway is special for us. But, tomorrow's a whole different day with different things we got to worry about making the car go over the long haul. I feel good about things. We had a great day today, and I'll sleep well tonight. But tomorrow's a new day, and we have to have things right come Saturday night.
5 wins here already, guys. A 6th, a possibility on Saturday night.
Way to go, guys.
12 cars qualified, folks, at over 190 miles per hour. And there were 29 cars here that were faster than May's qualifying. Wow, that is extremely fast here. It is setting up for what should be a great show on Saturday night. Remember, NASCAR Nationwide Series at Charlotte coming your way tomorrow night at 7:30 on ESPN2. And the NASCAR Banking 500 live on ABC coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on ABC. Coming up next, 30 for 30, the band that wouldn't die. Once again, congratulations to Jimmy Johnson, over 192 miles an hour. He's the